go.
All right. Hey guys. Welcome to The Keep. As you can see, we are still going live. We know things are really crazy in the world right now. We promise we are taking this seriously. But this is more for us than it is for y'all. And to preserve our sanity, we're going to be smart. We're going to be wise. But we are going to continue to meet unless one of us gets sick or it becomes unwise to do so. Watch Facebook and Twitter for our announcements. If we go dark, we will let y'all know. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and keep to our regular schedule until we can't. Yeah. So on that note, I don't think we have any other announcements at this point.
I think we're good.
So let's go ahead. We will lower the bridge and raise the gate because it is time to enter the keep.
Da, da, da. Let's do it. Do that.
A blacksmith first and a fighter second, Doran Runheim hails from the dwarven citadel of Niedervilliers in the Markheim Mountains. A dwarf of simple pleasures, Doran enjoys smashing things with a hammer, drinking ale, and of course he can be found getting into trouble with his team. The only son of a small family, Doran learned to stand against condescending scions of larger families from an early age, which left him with a long-standing distrust of politics. After a tragic accident in a deep mining shaft, Doran resolved to be skilled enough to protect others, in addition to devoting himself to his family's heritage and craft to try and raise his family's status. In the advancement of that craft, Doran discovered an ability his family had thought lost, the ability to imbue normal items with extraordinary magics. As his family's fortune fell, he set off to spread his family's name and reputation, and to rediscover his heritage.
Raised just outside the elvish city of Torelm, the capital of the Wood Elves in the heart of the Mirth Wood, Halberd thrived as the second of 4 children. They spent just as much time having adventures in the forest as they did in the city, and Halberd became very familiar with that terrain, especially when moving stealthily to sneak up on his siblings. As a young adult, Halberd and his brother both put their forestry skills to work in the military. They joined the Adskabak, an elite fighting force that worked to defend Mirthwood's borders from all monstrosities and invaders. Shortly after his acceptance into the Adzabak, the love of his life agreed to become his wife and soon gave him 2 beautiful children. Halberd was blissful, but it would not last. His unit was transferred from their standard position to a distant posting. The group was ambushed, betrayed by their own people, and, except for Halberd, entirely wiped out. The sole survivor, Halberd returned to his home only to find devastation there too. A dragon of some kind had arrived and destroyed the town. Halberd's home was gone and his family was murdered. Seeking both answers and vengeance, Halberd bent his skills to infiltrating the government, sowing discord and confusion as he went. It didn't take much to turn elf against elf. As the city fell from within, the dragon returned to destroy it utterly. In his escape to the mountains, Halberd never saw the dragon's form, and thus turned his hate to all dragonkind. He wandered for nearly 200 years, utterly alone in exile, until he rescued a young displacer beast cub from a dragon's lair. Pitying the young orphan, Halberd adopted it and named it Nightbane, and the two traveled together for a few years before being invited into the Sanctum.
The scion of one of the 12 ruling families of his people, Casator grew up as the elder of 2 children. A studious child at heart, he spent long days finding joy in the written word. It was during his studies that he discovered a truth his family had long sought to bury, that they were only relatively new to power and had gained it through somewhat underhanded means. Shocked at the obscuring of his family's history, Casator tried to bring it to light. His parents, and later his entire extended family, shut him down and censored him severely. Faced with this betrayal of his ideals, Casator decided to leave his homeland. In the midst of packing for his journey, he was interrupted by his younger sister, who begged him to allow her to join him. He turned her away on account of her youth, being only 13 years of age. However, he did agree to visit her each year, and in 5 years, on her 18th birthday, she would join him. The yearly visits passed, and the day came, but upon his return on her 18th birthday, Casator found that his sister had disappeared with no trace. Deeply saddened, Casator left his home for good, suspicious that his family knew more of his sister's disappearance than he would admit. Casator journeys now in search of knowledge. Knowledge is power after all, but only for those willing to use it. He quests to find that which is noble and true, and to share it with each culture he passes through, using song and story to influence the world for greater good.
Death is just a part of life, and few have spent more time in its company than Val. When you meet him, his intelligence and cunning are immediately obvious, as is his lack of strength. Born into the mountain tribe of the Kalashtar, his parents left him as a child in order to save his father from a pact with a chaotic deity. He was given to stay with his mother's tribe while his parents were away. However, his mother's people refused to train him as a druid due to his gender, as only females of the tribe were allowed to learn the druidic arts. As a young man, he chose to leave the tribe and explore the world searching for his parents. Unfortunately, not long after his departure, he was captured and taken as a slave by the Inspired, a nation of dark Kalashtar bent on spreading their influence across all the planes of existence. After a few years, Val was able to escape through a planar gate into the Feywilds. Whilst there, he encountered the goddess Sanine. She took a liking to him and claimed him as her own. A few short months later, Tyrek, a cleric and keeper of the Sanctum, recruited Val as a runner. Tyrek and his sister Liren trained Val as a cleric, and for 2 years, he served the Sanctum. As a cleric, Val is used to taking care of his team, but his sojourns into the realm of death have made it difficult for him to make friends.
If you are a good and true follower of Bahamut, then the sight of the Arbiter and his shining shield will be one of comfort and relief. However, if your so-called faith is nothing more than a heresy for self-profit and position, then you should tremble in fear before the Arbiter and his judgment, and pray you do not meet his axe. Soyux was not always the Arbiter. In fact, his calling into the service of Bahamut took him from his family as an infant. Raised by elders in the cloisters of the grand city of Dragenthrone, the young brass dragon lived a sheltered life. As an acolyte, Soyux learned his lessons well, but his true passion was for physical training and the combative arts. He began to pursue the path of the paladin, taking oaths and dedicating his life in devotion to a more aggressive service of the Platinum Dragon. His plan for his life, however, was forever changed on his 16th birthday, when the archpriest declared Soyux to be the arbiter, Bahamut's chosen judge. There had not been an arbiter in over a century, so his sudden appointment was not only a shock to Soyux, but to everyone else as well. Soyux's new duty would include examining the Church of Bahamut itself, rooting out heresy where he found it. Needless to say, Soyux was instantly isolated, removed from his friends, who he might one day have to judge, and held to a different standard than he was used to. He was not only taught how to fight efficiently, but was forced to study until he was able to perfectly recall the laws and sacraments of the church. When his studies were completed, Soyux was sent out on his journey, intending to travel from church to shrine to temple and ensure the Platinum Dragon was being honored appropriately. He didn't make it very far at all before he crossed paths with the Sanctum, once again having his life changed in a way he never expected.
Okay, well, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning back in. Last we left our heroes, you had met with the leaders of the Edge in the caverns under...
I'm on the edge!
Yeah, in the caverns under Grimhold. You spoke with the three leaders, two brothers and a cousin, who very strongly physically resembled each other. Kazator
Two
had
of them
some
were
interest...
very nice.
Two of them were very
So
nice.
they were a bunch of edgelords?
Oh god!
I was waiting for someone to make the joke. Thank you, Garrett.
Yay!
Garrett for the win.
Garrett for the win.
Man, y'all got low expectations.
Kazator had some interesting interactions with
Moving on.
a lesson, one of them in particular.
Did a lesson teach him a lesson?
Oh my god.
This is gonna be bad, y'all. We're already
We're
off
not
to a
even
terrible-
through
I
the
feel like I should
recap.
already
Difficulties.
apologize.
We're not even through the recap.
Nope.
Oh, this is gonna be a good day. So you had some fun. You did some shopping in Underhold. You got to see a little bit of the wider world that is contained within these caverns. You finished your business in Grimhold and started traveling east towards Whitebrand, towards Boulder Peak, and the journal you were searching for there. You made it about a day out. 1 day's travel away.
Huzzah!
And then
That's pretty good for us.
we had some interesting conversations during the night watches.
And then time land.
You made it a day away. Just 1 day.
Man, yes!
Oh god.
Air high five.
And then Miss Rye revealed that the face she had been presenting to you and to the rest of the world was actually not quite as you had expected.
Yes, darling.
She's a little hornier than expected.
Oh god!
Oh God.
Wow.
Woo! Cause she's a tiefling, guys. Come
A
on.
tiefling rather than an elf. Of course, entirely innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. No.
Just keep going.
Just keeping going.
There we go. No,
Kazator and Val on their watch had another interesting conversation where Kazator presented Val the summoning scroll that Koratana had signed. Val's father had previously put his signature to.
For those at home, Cortana didn't sign crap.
Cortana was asleep.
Cortana was in a meditation.
Koratana was in meditative state, and his hand was the active signing.
Mhm.
Technically, sort of. We'll see how well it goes, because that's where we're going to go ahead and jump back into this
Fantasy
session.
lawyers are gonna have
As
a
Val
field
has
day.
just taken this scroll of supposedly summoning Koratana, unrolled it on the ground, and activated it. So,
I see what you mean. There's definitely a lot more room now.
so Val, you and Kazator, I believe, are the only ones awake at this point. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the two of you witness as the scroll is unrolled and activated before you. The ink itself seems to change color, to start floating above the paper, and to start turning almost into a mist in the air. This fog seems to gather and start surrounding you, and as it starts to thicken, you see it start to rise and take the shape. It floats up and creates an archway in the air.
Kidstorf, I just killed us. Sorry, dude.
I gave you the knife.
Although the night is dark, the fog thickens and you cannot see through the archway. There's a brief moment where it is entirely occluded and it is just still and standing. And then the fog is disturbed, and walking through the fog towards you out of the archway is a figure. Lean, about average height, cloaked. There's a dark green hood over the face that flows into a little capelet, almost, not a full-length cloak, as the figure approaches.
Surprise.
The figure approaches. What do you do?
With my history and of clericiness, would I have an idea of who this is, or am I totally oblivious?
Make a history or religion check, either one, at disadvantage.
Oh, that's religion. That's religion all the way. Natural 19. 9.
9. It has been too long, really, since your father left. You were too young to really know a whole lot of what was going on. You've heard stories, but nothing was really ringing a bell to match the situation.
I guess I was kneeling down. I'll stand up and I'll reach out a hand. Who are you?
You reach out a hand, and the figure approaches. You see the cloak is not a full-length cloak. It's a little capelet. It comes like a travel cloak. It leaves the torso and the arms bare, and you see, as you reach out, a hand reaches out towards you. There's a sleeveless garment that this figure is wearing of undyed linen, and you see the arm that reaches towards you. The skin is covered with a long, beautifully elaborate dark shape, serpentine almost, that reaches out towards you.
Does it look like a tattoo or a creature?
Sort of like a tattoo of a creature.
Okay. It doesn't look like there's actually something on his arm. It looks like it's just drawn.
It's definitely his arm. This figure does not speak at this point.
I suppose, do I recognize this tattoo?
As a matter of fact, it very closely resembles a dark dragon shape silhouetted on his arm. It does look very similar to Kyra.
Okay.
I'll switch to Corey, our native tongue. Well, I don't know. At least I didn't go telepathic. Heifer. Father, it's Val. Is that you?
You see the figure take another step closer. The arm reaches out. It lands on your shoulder. You see the hood, the other hand, pulls back. Valtana. My son. You see before you the face of your father.
I didn't forget the face of my father. You get that one now.
Well played, sir. Well played.
It's been so long. What's happened?
I walked my road. And my patron took me.
Your patron.
The traveler.
Is he here?
Only so much as I am here. I am his agent.
I trust that's not for very long then.
Say that one more time.
I trust that's not for very long then.
Not long. I have work I must complete. I have paths I must take and roads I must walk.
That can't be good. The pact, is it mine now?
Say rather, the pact is Tana's. As she is yours, the pact is yours.
So deities are confusing. The deity I'm beholden to, Sani, the goddess of death and illusions, how does that affect this pact with the traveler?
I do not know.
That's not helpful.
As you say her name, though, a bright beam of moonlight seems to pierce the fog that shines down on you. And as it shines, it lands on Cora's figure, and you see it goes ghostly, ethereal. Where you had felt the pressure of his hand on you, the pressure disappears, and you see it sink through your arm now, unable to maintain physical contact with you.
Oh, that's not good.
I've seen this movie. I'll look up and it seems that the deities are more possessive than I gave them credit for.
You can know their minds.
Not I for sure. Is there anything I need to know? There's so much I want to ask you, but I know our time is short.
Only this. I am proud of you, my son. Ask your questions. I will answer as I can.
Is there anything the traveler required?
There is much he requires of me. He is patient and willing to wait. As you travel, as you walk your roads, in some ways it honors him. Don't be afraid. If he requires more of you, he will let you know.
A question I forgot about. This spirit I've inherited. Unfortunately, I kind of left not long after you and Mother, and too much has happened to explain at the moment, but I never received the instructions on how to coexist with this spirit.
Even with instructions, it is a unique journey. Take your time. She will reach out to you if you cannot reach her. She will guide you.
Is she a god I can trust?
I trusted her. You will have to make your own determination.
With this pact, this entity, this deity, is it one I will have to be wary of? Or is it more straightforward than I give it credit for?
I would not say straightforward is his specialty. Be wise. As some roads meander and travel and dip out of sight as you see, and you cannot tell where the road ahead will go. Think of him like that.
Oddly, that makes more sense than I anticipated.
You see at this point, the moonlight is starting to go brighter. The fog is starting to dim. You get the sense that the time is growing short.
The Sanctum came under attack. We are trying to restore it. It's hard to believe that you and I were both members without even knowing it.
Is it so hard to believe we walked similar roads?
Slightly. I barely got to know your road. Or you, for that matter. But maybe we can, through this shared spirit, I can learn more.
Tona contains my memories of our time together. As you grow more accustomed to her, you will grow to know me. The fog continues to lift. The moonlight continues to brighten. You get the sense you have a few moments left.
I will walk my path, Father. Take care as you walk yours.
A blessing for you, before you go. The traveler will guide your steps. May he keep the path you walk safe. As you arise each morning, may the road stretch out before you. You will know where to go.
What is a Cairo?
You see a slow grin on Cora's face. You see the tattoo on his arm begin to shift and move. You see the head, which had been staying stationary, blinks, shifts, and the tattoo itself begins to wind its way up and over his shoulders, the head coming around on the other side, watching you, active on his skin, moving.
Oh, that's a neat trick.
Kyra was a friend. Quesador.
Hello, Cora.
It is good to see you, friend.
Likewise.
Give the others my regards.
I shall. Give the traveler ours.
I shall pass that on in the spirit with which it was meant.
Indeed.
I can just hear Jonathan growling right now.
Cora takes a few steps back. The fog is continuing to lift. The archway is growing dim. He steps through the archway, and then there's a brief flash of darkness. You blink, or it feels like you blink, that this darkness has come over you, and when your eyes are able to see again, everything is returned as it was. The night is quiet. The moonlight is back to normal. The fire is crackling in the distance. Your companions are asleep around you.
Thank you for that, Kizatora. I have a lot to think about, but I appreciate this more than email.
I'm glad that it was in my power to give.
If you don't mind, I'll take a few moments to myself.
Of course.
And I'll
just kind of head to the other side of the camp and watch.
I'll head to my side and just kind of think.
Okay.
Think.
As you think, you do feel a brief stir in a place in your mind you're not used to. That's still new and still sensitive, almost. Tana, almost like a sleepy cat. You can feel a shifting and movement and resettling.
That's weird. I'll just spend the rest of the watch contemplating.
All right. The rest of the watch passes quietly. That's the second watch of the night. Third watch is Halberd and Doran, if I remember right.
Hello.
Hello. As y'all... Yeah, I don't like that one. We'll do this one. As y'all keep watch, is there anything you wanted in particular to have happen or discuss?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to wait too much time. I'm going to work on my puzzle. I'm curious, just for kicks and grins. Is there any type of dragon scale on the ground?
Would he know to look?
Favorite enemy.
You feel a little bit of moisture in the air as you are brought awake for your watch. You don't see anything in particular on the ground that would alert you to having had any draconic presence.
Darn it. I really would have liked to kill that little bugger.
His hatred for that little dragon is so real, man.
I was a baby.
Dragon. Dragon.
Thank you, Mushu.
No, I'm good and interested keeping the storyline moving. Work on my little puzzle that I got from Water Spirit, and I'm good to go.
Alright, go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Oh.
One thing that would be quick, perhaps.
23.
23. Alright, you start looking at the places where the two pieces have started to click together. Where you see how there's a pattern that's starting to be formed on the outside of it. You hadn't noticed when you'd first gotten the pieces, the outside had appeared to be smooth, and as it is coming together, you feel very slight indentures and markings starting to form on this this puzzle that you're working on. You're starting to get a sense of the patterns and how it's going to fit together. You're making some good progress.
I'll say that.
Right. Doran.
I'm just going to draw up a quick plan for a pickaxe and for a shovel.
Alright. Go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Why do you pick on me every time?
But go ahead and add your proficiency to it. Because you are proficient in your smithing.
So, +2. That's a natural 20.
Nice.
Nice. So for some reason, you are, while putting these thoughts down on paper and coming up with the schematics is usually challenging. It usually takes a much longer period for you to think through everything and come to an adequate design. This one is coming together very nicely for you. You're putting it down on paper, things are making sense, the math is checking out, the schematic itself looks proportional. You feel like you've gotten a really good start on these.
Good.
The rest of the watch passes quietly. Dawn comes, birds are singing. You see a little bit in the distance of people starting to move towards Grimhold, who've gotten an early start on the road. The day is yours.
Let's pack up and get going.
All right.
Onward on our journey.
As we start to walk, just casually, by the way, to everyone in the party, Cortana says hello.
Who?
Well, that's interesting.
What?
Can you run that one by me again, mate?
Cortana, our previous companion, may have dropped by last night and said,
May have or did?
hello. Did.
How did that come about?
The summoning scroll that I had, that was linked to him, I gave to Val to use at his discretion, which turned out to be immediate.
Oh, hello. Quite interesting.
And you didn't
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
What?
And you didn't wake us.
It's just a father-son chat, but he wanted me to pass along his regards to everyone.
Well, that's fair.
I would ask how he's doing, but Considering he's not here, I feel like that's could be
Seems to
explained.
be doing well despite being dead.
It's all very confusing.
I suppose that's all you can ask for. I'm not entirely sure that he was actually dead.
Well, he didn't die, he just sort of left.
Well, he did, then he came back, and then he left.
Right. Well, we all
He had
kind
to
of
have
did,
died
so.
because I inherited the spirit. But
Well, him and I
he didn't
definitely died.
He didn't stay dead, apparently.
No, none of us did, because of the Sanctum, but him and I definitely died. He
Well,
died,
if he's alive,
and then I
think
died.
he ought to keep his pact with the traveler, and that shouldn't be on your shoulders, I don't believe.
Well, that was one of the questions I tried to ask, and apparently the pact travels with the inherited spirit, not as just a person to person.
So what is he doing now?
Not entirely sure. He seems to be an agent of the traveler now.
Was the traveler with
travel agent?
God.
Thank
That's
you, Jordan.
amazing.
How long have you been sitting on that one?
Really, it came to me just then. It was in the moment.
He
The wit is real.
What was your question again, Howard?
Was the traveler with him?
Not in any physical form.
He was busy traveling.
All I know is I'm glad to be rid of the little blighter. Oh my gosh. I'm done with the
You
traveler.
really hated
Anything
that
about
little
it is all
dragon.
bad.
That wee beastie. I never did get to make anything for him.
Well, good thing you didn't waste your time on that.
All right, that is a way to think about it.
Continuing on.
As you'll go ahead and you travel the road,
Boom, 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 boom,
essentially,
boom.
the roads are pretty clearly marked through here. You make your way through Stardrop Pass east into
I have the map on my phone.
the Central Valley region of the continent.
Are we riding or are we walking? Just curious.
Riding.
We have a couple horses, the cart. I have Gygax. You have Nightbane.
Good deal. Just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
There's as y'all go through the central region here. Describe to me how y'all are traveling, what y'all are doing at night, your general protocol. How are you handling this?
I'm saying hi to Garrett's mom.
Hi, Mom.
Good call.
Can I beat Garrett to it?
No,
we're
it's like a game.
We're probably just doing every night. I imagine we're doing Tiny Hut.
Yep.
And I'll do a couple, if I haven't used any spell slots, just a couple of alarms every night around the area.
Okay. Just encircling the camp. Okay.
I'll be working with Nightbane and working on the little puzzle.
Okay.
Split my 4 hours between each of them.
And
Good deal.
as we're just generally going, I don't know who. I'm mostly on my horse. I feel like most of y'all will be in the cart. I think we have. Do we get an additional riding horse?
You did get one additional horse, I believe.
And then Nightbane can be ridden as well. So I feel like
So
there's
is
just rotation.
Yep.
Is that 2 horses pulling the cart? You mean?
No, it was a one horse
One
cart.
horse cart.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we had an extra travel horse.
Yes, we have one horse cart,
Or baggage horse, or whatever you want to
an
use
additional
it for.
horse, Nightbane, and Gygax.
Don't forget you had a mule too.
Oh, we do have a mule as
Yeah,
well.
no, our additional horse was our was Audir's old horse.
Yeah. We had Rosie.
Roxy.
I don't know. And the mule, Jordan's favorite creature.
Spear tongue.
I'm probably also messaging back and forth a little bit with Steady, writing in my journal to Oust, and just reading.
Okay.
Maybe making more weapons plans and stuff.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal.
I'm keeping Rissa up to date on our progress.
Okay.
Oh, actually, that's.
Good deal.
I'll finish enchanting the short walking staff that I have with heroism that I started, and at some point try and resummon JoJo.
Okay.
Oh, I guess the other thing, because you were talking about her possibly having a bag of holding, she has a trunk that appears whenever she needs to pull things in and out for the night. So.
Well, that's neat.
That's just a cool trick.
And then there it is.
Yep.
Magically appears. It's
Yeah, it's a steamer trunk. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
It's delightful.
What's the name of that one? How do you do that?
That's Liam and Secret Chest.
Oh, well.
Liam and He seems to be making quite a name for himself.
Yes, it's a lovely chest. I found it on one of my travels, and I got it at a really good discount.
He also has a nice little hut that we stay in all night.
Yes, darling, I've
He
noticed.
is quite the popular person. Do you know counterspell?
It seems a bit forward. Do you feel like you're going to need it anytime soon?
Well,
possibly,
because this one doesn't know it, like the idiot he is. Look, I can make my arrow shoot fire, but I don't know how to counter a spell.
Well, I suppose if it's necessary, you'll find out.
I sure do hope you do.
Okay. Jordan,
I look
for
up,
the
shake
enchanting,
my head,
go ahead
back
and
to
make an
writing
arcana check
notes,
for me.
making up what-
Okay.
The DC is 14, because it's a level 1 spell.
Okay. Just Arcana check, yes?
Yes. And you'll be making 5 of these over the course of the total enchantment. So if you want to go ahead and make one for the start and one for the what you're doing on the road, go ahead.
Okay. First one's a 9.
Okay, so that's 1 failure. You're allowed 1 failure in this process, so you can still go ahead and keep going. The second check.
So 1 of 5 can fail, or I
1
still
of
need
5
pass?
can fail.
Okay. So I need 4. Okay.
4 successes.
That is also a 9.
All right.
Worst enchanter
Let's
ever.
see. Let's
Mom
see.
said hi.
It's on the road. It's difficult circumstances.
Right, yeah, true,
There's a bump right when he's trying to do something.
Sure.
Worst enchanter ever.
Exactly.
Of all time.
Are you driving the cart?
Mm-hmm. Or Doran, if Doran wants to drive a car.
I mean, well, I imagine we're taking turns.
All right.
Pea
You
break,
do
switch it.
manage to
Fantasy
keep the
truck
base
style.
materials, but it does blow up in your face a little bit. Go ahead and, for this particular day, take 3 points of damage.
All right.
Going on. What are you doing?
What? Nothing. Just.
So you're going along,
okay.
you're trying to focus. You're sitting in the cart as you're managing this particular one. The cart hits a little bumpy section of the road.
Is this like a covered wagon cart? Do we need to put the canvas out?
It's not, I mean, you could cover it if you wanted. It's not necessarily a Conestoga.
This actually is important because this is the cart.
I think that's what it is.
This is the cart we took from Reuven.
Yes.
Is there a cover for it, or is it an open cart?
It's an open cart currently. If that's something you wanted to pursue, it could easily be transformed.
But we don't have the.
You do not
parts.
have the
Okay.
materials to do that.
Important things to remember.
Yes.
We can just all take our extra travel clothes and just like
Did we take the
gypsy
fantasy
cart it.
license plate off of it since we Grand Theft Auto this man's cart?
I mean,
Like,
He's dead, they don't care.
you don't know.
I mean, legitimately, are there markings on it or something that we need
Make
to
an
deface?
investigation check.
I love how I'm the one doing this.
That's actually a good call.
Yeah.
Hey, you
That's
know runes, it's fine.
Investigation, you say?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a 9.
9. You don't
What
see
is it,
anything
roll
in
a 10?
particular.
9. Great.
Third 9 in a row.
Good. We're fine.
During the day, I'll be out front keeping check and scouting ahead a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
And I'll be
Make
scouting around the
a perception check. You're scouting also.
Well, I'm not scouting. I'm like keeping watch on the cart.
Also make a perception check.
Oh yeah. Happy days. That's a modified 20.
Nice.
19.
19. Okay. So as y'all are going along, keeping count, you have a day fairly early on when there's a mild explosion in the back of the cart. Send some birds flying up. Otherwise, the traveling is fairly quiet.
Was he at least in the back
On
of the
about
cart away from the rest
day-
of us? And all of our stuff.
On about day 7 or 8, we'll say day 8, you're a little less than a week out from Longview, which is a little north of where you're currently at. You do find a trail off the main road, relatively recent. It does not look long established. It's a little more significant than a game trail. You see that there have been people who have, like, there are boot marks where this has been trampled down, where the grass has been walked down, and you also see that it isn't just booted feet, that there are also tracks of sandals and bare feet that have come through here, and it's a fairly large group of people that have turned off of the road at this point. They're headed to the south.
What's
And we're
south
headed
of us?
which way?
Y'all are headed east.
I mean, let's see, there's nothing south of us. If Longview's north of us, there's nothing south of us. So, might as well.
You're not exactly north or south of Longview. You're.
But are we east or west of it? Because there's still nothing south of Longview.
There's still nothing south of Longview. No.
So,
You're slightly west of Longview still.
I mean, I say we just continue. We have other things we need to deal with. If we chase every path off of this road, we will never get where we need to go.
Our quest log is going to be so full.
Yeah. The only thing I would ask is does it just look like it's people, or does it look like there's actual like carts and things as well?
You do see some wheel marks. Go ahead and also make a perception check.
I didn't even say anything. I was thinking.
We have other objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's a 13.
How much?
13.
Good guess. Good guess.
I need you to not do that. I need you to pick a higher number.
I cannot just make your dice do whatever I want. I just tell you what the dice is going to do.
It seems like you can, but whatever.
Jonathan's or Halberd's the new oracle.
Oh gosh.
Just call me the dice whisperer.
Alright. It's hard to tell. You can tell there's definitely been traffic. You do see some signs of wheels. But it's...
There's a lot of good in the world, eh?
Tracking things through nature like this is not typically your specialty.
Right.
So it's you're just not really able to take much detail from it at this point.
One thing I would mention, gentlemen, we are looking out for one caravan with Taurian, so I'm not sure if this is
Well, I mean, is it a necessity to find said caravan, or is it just if we happen to come across it?
I do not know, but it is up to you whether or not you feel like you want to get along with the people of this world.
I mean, I don't feel like we need to continue to chase every path off of the main trail.
How old are these tracks, and do there appear to be dragon tracks? Because if there's dragon tracks, we're going, y'all. If not, we can bypass.
These are not dragon tracks. These are definitely humanoid. They're less than a day old.
Ooh.
I have an idea that can help us with this. I'm going to cast divination.
Okay.
Oh, I've got an idea as well.
I'll cast nothing.
Trying to figure out why we're spending so much time on this random set of tracks.
A few minutes. It's not so much time.
Give the horses a break.
We're stopping to feed them.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to use one of my little totems that I made.
Magical.
One of your symbols of sanity.
Yep. And I'm going to set it down and do my little ritual thing. And I get a question. Is there danger ahead that caused these to detour? Or are we safe to move forward?
I wouldn't have thought of that. Well played, sir. Well played.
Let's see. You feel, even though it's a sunny day out and the temperature is fairly pleasant. The breeze is balmy as you've been traveling, and it's getting on towards the evening. But you feel as you sit and you do this ritual, your back gets cold. You feel a brief throbbing of your scars. The sensation fades. The ritual is complete. The item is consumed.
All right. So that's a new one.
What?
Do what? What'd you say, Albert?
You said that's a new one. What's new? What happened?
So I got a cold sensation, and then my scars started hurting.
What did you ask?
I asked if there was danger ahead or if we were safe to continue along this path. There seems to be... I almost feel like that was telling me there was danger ahead.
I might be able to help with this, darling.
Good. Help is good.
Question.
Yes.
With clairvoyance, it says that the range is a mile. Could I do a mile straight up?
Let me see. Pulling up the spell description now.
Right?
I mean,
I don't see why not.
my spells let me hit things really hard, so I'm not super useful with it.
So I will go ahead and call my orb out into my hand and use clairvoyance a mile up and do the seeing to see if there's anything of note in the near distance.
Well, that's super high.
Yeah.
That is very high up.
High enough that I will still be able to visualize what's happening.
Okay. So low, because a mile up, you probably wouldn't actually be able to get a whole lot of detail.
Not detail, but just like if there's...
Right, like you probably wouldn't be able...
There's clusters of people. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, make a perception check.
Death machines.
Oh, 6.
6. All right.
This is terrible.
As you send your orb up, you do see... You manage to make out your small cluster of people.
Mm-hmm.
To the south, you do see a much larger group of people. They are moving away from you. There are a few carts that are with them. They're about the size, they look like ants, like small ants that are moving to the south. And you see up ahead, there's another group of people. You don't see a whole lot of movement with this group ahead, though.
Okay. So yes, darling, there are indeed people off to the south, so if we did want to trek that pathway, we could. They appear to be more of like a caravan or travelers. If we were looking for Torian, possibly find him there, but you all seem not terribly disposed to actually engage with this particular person. Otherwise, it does appear that there are some people a little bit further up in the distance. There's not a lot of movement, so I'm not certain if that's an ambush, if those are dead bodies, or just people who happen to be paused on the road.
Well, we're going forward anyways. Might as well go forward and see for ourselves what's up there.
It might be not a bad idea to divert, though.
I mean, but could you see if there was a path that actually looped around, or are we just going to take off into the wilderness?
You saw them east along the same road that you were traveling. You could leave the road now. It's a fairly open area. You could take the cart, and it would slow you down a little bit, but it's doable.
Alternatively, if we have anyone who is of particular stealth, they might be able to scout ahead a little bit to determine what the situation is.
I don't know anybody like that.
Nose goes.
Huh. Well, how far ahead were they from you, from here?
It was hard to tell. You couldn't, being so high up, you couldn't judge distances very well.
The distance.
Well, Halbert, do you want to scout ahead of us, and we'll just move forward a little bit slowly behind you while you see if you can't see what that's about?
I got you. I'll move forward very snakily, like, not necessarily on the main path, and
Halbert, do you mind if I go with you?
What?
Do you mind if I accompany you?
Are you good at being stealthy?
Plan here.
I'm being stealthy, yes. But more importantly, I have the ability to send messages back to the group in a rapid fashion.
Yelling's also good for that if necessary.
If they're close enough.
I can bring you with me, mate, if you trust me.
Let's do it.
Cool. I'm going to put you in my medallion.
I mean, not really helpful, but okay, whatever.
Do you resist?
No.
Potentially very helpful.
So he willingly goes into the medallion.
Guys, we're never letting him out now.
I assume you're riding
Roll a
Nightbane
new
up ahead?
character.
He throws the medallion into the river.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna move forward. How do I get the feeling like if I move forward within the next hour, I'd be able to see them, especially with the spyglass, or is it one of those things where, based off what you saw and how far ahead they were, just move forward right now, nice and quiet?
They looked to be a bit of a distance away, and I will, as much as I'm able to recall, if there's anything significant about, like if it's around a turn or anything like that, I will describe to him as much as I can tell him about the path forward. But admittedly, I'm not terribly concerned generally with the distance from that high up, so I couldn't really give you much about time or length either.
Fantastic.
I do my best, darling.
No, I appreciate you. Yeah, I'll move forward for a little while and just normal stealth and see how far I get looking out for her. Some of the marks and things like that.
All right.
And I'll slow down the further I get.
Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Swimming around in the nothingness.
Thinking to yourself, this is
That's not bad.
This is what it was like being
21.
All right, so you feel very stealthy as you move through the grass. Because you're leaving the. Are you leaving the main road?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What's my surroundings?
Right now, it's a fairly grassy area. There are very small hills, but for the most part, this valley is fairly flat. It's arable land, just mostly unclaimed at this point.
So we'd see something if it was like actually close. This isn't like woods or anything.
Right. It's not a forested area. There's scrub brush every now and then, but you're not seeing.
Hill country.
So what?
Like hill country.
Yeah. So you go off the grass once you leave the road, and you move, and your steps are silent.
I'm gonna hop off the Nightbane, so we're not. He's not super tall. I'm not presenting a bigger target.
Okay.
I know.
Go ahead and roll an individual stealth check for Nightbane for me.
What would he be? Just let me find a stat sheet. Dex. 15.
15.
So I'm going to change it a little bit because I thought we were in the woods. So I'm actually going to bring Valtana out and I'll put Nightbane in. So that's twice.
Okay.
Because I was under the impression we were in the woods.
No, this is grassland that y'all are traveling through.
Yeah, no, I should have clarified, but I didn't.
Okay.
So I'll put Nightbane in and have Val walking with me, nice and quiet.
That was interesting.
We've never been in there.
Nope.
A little bit.
It's very dark in there. I'm not entirely sure.
It's perfect. What's wrong?
Creepy.
So as you were in there, it was dark, but you could get a sort of ethereal look at what was happening around you, as though it was holographic, essentially.
I've got
holograms.
The spyglass.
Not the shiny one, but
those
the
old '80s like vector graphics, which is like lines in the blackness.
sort of.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm thinking like old.
I've got that spyglass. I'd like to be using it to look further ahead if possible.
Okay.
As I reach different points and cover and hide myself.
Alright, so you go ahead, you get to the top of one of the hills, and you go flat, you go prone and pull out the spyglass, and this will give you a pretty decent view of most of the surrounding area. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Also, Val, if I might recommend walking very quietly and carefully.
Make a stealth
Don't
check.
make a lot of noise. Perception. 20.
Alright, stealth for Val was 5.
I thought you said you were good at stealth.
I was when I don't roll a natural 1.
Okay, +4 is not good at stealth.
Dude, I'm better than that. It's okay.
All right.
How about you hang back about 30, 40, 50, 60 feet or so?
Halberd, as you are
Proficient is
using
good.
your spyglass to take in the countryside around you, you do see farther ahead, several hundred feet ahead, there is there are a number of low-lying figures on the road and near the road. There's some debris in the same area, and you see these are humanoid figures that are on the ground. There are 2 or 3 of them that are shifting and moving, but by and large, these are still.
Oh crap! All right.
As you are taking in this sight, you hear a clatter behind you. As Val, who'd been coming up, following in your steps, missteps, finds a little rabbit hole with his foot and starts tumbling down the hill. Val, I want you to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, where was that earlier? 17.
17, okay. You manage to keep your limbs contained. You don't break an ankle. You don't get too much more than a couple of bumps and bruises. You do land prone at the bottom of this little hill.
It's okay, guys. I'm good at stuff.
Does it seem like the people up front heard, based off of what I'm able to see with my spyglass, are they reacting to that?
As you're keeping an eye on them, they do not seem to be reacting to that.
I think that trip into the pendant has thrown off my... You threw off my groove.
It's okay, disadvantage. I also got a 5, but I'm not good at stealth.
So, send a message, send word to the group that it seems to be a group of people up ahead. Many of them are not moving. There's 1 or 2 stragglers moving around. When it looks like they're moving, does it, clarifying question.
Yes.
Does it look like they're looting or moving like up easily, or are they struggling to move? Does it seem like they're wounded, pulling themselves along? Or is it something where they're very much in control?
They are not moving away on the road. They're staying in that same area, and it looks like they're moving from figure on the ground to figure on the ground.
Cool. We're going to try to get close to tell them to move up, but move up carefully. Give us a little bit of space. Looks like they might be looters up ahead.
I'll cast sending to Silex and let them know.
Okay. So now, Silex, you're aware of the situation.
Cool. We will move up slowly. I'll relay.
Do you say anything out loud?
I'll relay whatever he tells me.
I don't know if you're still able to respond to him, darling, but I can try casting clairvoyance again once we're closer and I can see where we're at.
Thank you.
I'm going to cast. Go ahead.
Can't really say anything back to him.
You can reply.
Right, but I imagine I already. What's the time frame on the ability to? Is it an instant thing?
Doesn't say.
We'll go ahead and say within a minute.
Cool. I will tell you what she said, because that's what she said.
I was waiting.
Come on. For it.
Wow.
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
Anyways.
It's been such a week. All right. So you go ahead and you pass that on. Do y'all meet back up? How are you handling this?
I'm casting Pass Without Trace, and I'm moving up closer.
All right.
Am I close enough to you? Did I get the benefit of that?
Yes.
All right. So each of y'all go ahead and roll new stealth checks.
So much better.
Oh, really?
I mean,
you finally good at stealth?
Better than a natural 1?
Yes.
Proficient is good. You're just weirdly dexterous.
I am weirdly dexterous. 24.
All right. 24.
Nat 1, 21.
Oh my gosh.
That's good at stealth.
No, that is great at stealth.
That's a rogue.
Right.
All right.
That one, 21.
So Halberd, as you're going, your foot finds that same rabbit hole that Val had found previously, but you manage, through some feat of dexterity, to withdraw your foot. You turn your tumble into a forward shoulder roll and stand up without any harm, with nary a whisper being heard.
I'm gonna look at Val, smile, and keep on going.
I'm just gonna flip you the bird as you turn away.
As I get close enough, I'd like to be able to very quietly, if I'm able to, just see what am I able to see, what's happening within this situation.
All right. As y'all approach, you see. Actually, you don't see it first. You smell it first.
Ooh.
The wind carries a strong scent of blood and rot.
That's not good.
These figures that you had seen on the ground are very clearly now bodies. The figures moving from person to person are wounded also. They're all humanoid of various species. A couple of half-elves, mostly human. And they are all men.
I was just thinking that same thing. Is there a tiefling anywhere?
There is not a tiefling, no.
Okay.
Not that you see. A number of the figures are dressed in finer garb. I should say a number of the bodies are dressed in finer garb. There are a few that are wearing more rough-sparn, worn armor, beaten up swords and shields, a couple of spears. The figures who are standing are all wearing a little bit of the finer linens. They're all wounded. Not a one of them is without injury.
So they all look like they're generally of the same class or party. It's not like a bunch of nice people were beset on by like ruddy people that are now rummaging the bodies. They'll have like nicer clothes on and whatnot.
The ones that are alive, yes. A number of probably about half a dozen of the dead bodies are look to be brigands of some kind who had set upon this group.
Do I see any marks of the Brotherhood?
Make a perception check.
Please, sweet Jesus.
Do I see an elf with red hair?
You do not.
Okay.
How does a 28 sound?
That sounds amazing. You do not see any marks of the Brotherhood.
Dadgummit, I really wanted to surprise someone and shoot him. Life is hard sometimes.
You see the figures going from body to body. They seem to be pulling things, what they can, weapons, gear, equipment off of the brigand type and pulling that aside fairly roughly. Business-like, going through and just taking what seems useful. The figures that are dressed a little bit nicer, they seem to be treating a little bit more deferentially. You watch as they are starting to collect the bodies, these three figures or so that are still standing. And as you approach, you're probably about 60 or 80 feet away now.
Well, the party's still behind and sort of out of sight.
I was going to say, before, like, I'm stopping and I'm going to wait a little bit until the party shows up. I'm not going to, if there's a lot of people,
well, if you
I'm
all,
not going to go.
If you all will wait here.
There are a fair number of bodies. There are 3 people that you see moving around, and these are all younger men.
You all just wait just out of sight. I will ride up with my very flashy regalia and see what is going on.
Real quick, do I see the symbol at the edge?
Make a perception check.
Yeah, that's something I should have asked about too.
25.
25. As a matter of fact, you do. One of the youths, moving from person to person, does have a tattoo of that knife silhouette on his arm.
Okay, I'll relay that to everybody.
If, in case this is a reverse ambush, I'll ride up, introduce myself, and if they receive me, then you guys can surprise them. If not, I'll flag you all forward. Nothing else. I'm just the arbiter of Bahamut traveling through the countryside doing what he's supposed to do. On a very fancy warhorse. So,
Sounds fair enough to me.
all right.
So fancy.
You guys will wait for my yelling, and I will come up on the group of
All right.
people.
As you approach, you move, and you are very flashy and very loud as you ride
100%.
forward. As soon as you get into range and they see you, their eyes go really big and they start running towards you. Please, sir, you must help us. They've taken our people.
What has happened here? What's going on?
They came out of nowhere. There were so many of them. We tried to fight them off as best as we can. Torian, he told us three to hide. That's the only reason we made it out. Please, they've taken them. You have to help.
Slow down. Who was they?
Ruffians, brigands. They beset us. I'm sorry. They came. We had no chance. There were so many of them. They just came out of nowhere.
Now I see your marking. Are you with the edge then?
You see, he takes his sleeve, and I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure
about.
you have no idea what I'm talking about, of course.
Absolutely not.
But boy, I'm a friend of theirs.
You have to help us. Please, is there anything you can do?
And you said, were you part of that name you said? Who told you to hide?
Torian. He's our caravan
You're
master,
a part
please.
of his caravan. Well, they went off the direction we just came from, yes?
Yes. They started moving west on the road. We couldn't stop them. Please, they've taken everyone.
Well, I will see what I can do. You wait and rest here. Can you handle that yourselves, or?
We can do what we can. We're prepared to go. We've taken this armor. We'll go with you, please.
Do you have mounts or means of traveling quickly, or are you just on foot?
No, they've taken it all, but
I'm not sure if you would be able to keep up then. So
whether you go or not, we are going. They have my family.
okay, I want to do a check to see if anything he's saying is believable.
All right, make an insight check.
Okay.
Don't mess up.
It's not bad. 16?
16. He is overcome by emotion. There's blood, there is sweat. His body language is very intense at this point. There's nothing particularly alarming about it. He's been through an ordeal, and he's obviously still riding the adrenaline. This human boy who's sort of speaking for the three of them there.
There's nothing like deceptive or anything in that regard.
Nothing that you see.
Well, I can't promise much, but I do have a group that I'm traveling with, and I'll go back and relay your plight to them, and I'm sure we can. That name means something. It's familiar, so you may follow on foot, but I will be ahead of you, and I'll turn around and quickly head back to the group and relay to everyone. Well, okay. Seems this was our Elfling's character.
I thought we weren't concerned about them, darling.
Well, there's a difference between if we happen to see them versus being beset on in need.
Not time for tic-tac. Where are they headed and what's going on?
Oh, I imagine that they were headed to Grimhold, and those tracks were definitely them being taken. Now, this goes into the keeping good alliances with the Edge. This individual was definitely with them, so it's one thing to come across a healthy caravan and ignore it, but an allied caravan, perhaps we should do something along those lines to aid them.
About time we stop talking and start chasing.
I'm going to hop on Nightbane's Phantom out and start riding that way.
Yep, there we go.
Jump on the cart. Actually, Kistor, are you on the horse or the mule?
If we've still got the mule, I guess I'm on the mule.
Well, you can be on the cart.
Well, but we've got to take the mule with us anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well then I'll jump on the other horse, and
so it doesn't matter.
The cart's a tad bit lighter.
Okay.
Cart.
Yeah.
I'll take off on Gygax ahead. So probably me and you will be the fastest ones.
I think he's Nightbane's as fast as we are.
Nightbane's 40 or 60.
Slower.
As y'all go heading back off towards the road, or west on the road towards the tracks, fairly quickly you find where they had come off the road and turned south.
Nope. Short range pull in.
Yep, pretty much. Just
power slide.
Drifting the horse.
That's the seat and stop, turn and go.
Yeah. I want to see that cart drift.
Oh.
We're doing this barrel racer
I
style.
was gonna say, raining competition right
Yes.
there.
Yep.
They're horse people.
When the equestrians start nerding
Yep.
out.
Yep. I mean, quarter horses, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not on a quarter horse.
No.
Not even kind of.
You're on a celestial, all right? Let's just be honest.
Think like Percheron Thoroughbred Cross.
Yeah.
Big, tall, muscular.
I was waiting for that to come up. That specific breed right there.
So we're on an adventure.
It's a magical celestial horse, guys.
Muscular enough to carry a 300-pound dragonborn in armor
Magical celestial horse.
All right.
with a blue mane and tail.
100%.
I'm doing the jockey.
No, this is not a normal
3.
horse.
You get 3. That's all jockeys are permitted. So you manage to go. You're racing down this trail. And who is leading the charge?
Probably me.
All right, make a perception check.
Oh, God.
Or
I
actually,
was gonna say
make it
I'm right
survival.
behind him, so
For following the tracks, make it survival.
yeah.
In the cart, I have one.
Man, it would be nice if you had someone who's a great tracker leading the charge.
Right, but you're slow. 17.
17.
For once, I'm faster than people.
Pretty quickly, you as you're riding along, within a couple of hours, you start getting to the point where
Jeez.
these people are close.
Do I see them?
It
Do I
depends.
see them?
Did you slow down in order to keep your group close enough together? Because we'll say y'all are moving at about 60 per round. He's at 40 per round.
Val's not slowing down.
What's the cart at?
The carts will say at 30.
Well,
We'll get there when we get there.
Did you Magnus rushes in?
Well, I believe the phrase I'm looking for is "Leave on Jenkins!"
So if y'all are
Especially if you're not slowing down, then
no,
if
Val's
he's
not slowing down.
Sometimes we start to slow down, so that he's not. We're like, oh, guess we're not doing that then.
But aren't we going
When are they
slow
within
at this
600
cart?
feet?
yes, y'all are
Wait.
I'm on the
half
horse.
speed.
I jumped on the horse.
Oh, you're on the horse.
He's
Yeah.
on the horse.
Our spare on Roxy.
Never mind.
So
we're on the cart with the horse.
Say again, Jonathan.
he wants to shoot
When
something
are you
far
at 600 feet out from someone that I can shoot who doesn't see me?
He's like, I just want the one.
The bloodlust is real.
Oh, it's real.
I mean,
It's been weeks since I've killed somebody, y'all.
Man, who's up for a shopping adventure?
I'll go shopping. I'm about to go into a bloodbath. It's all right.
within about 2 hours, you two are going to be the first ones to start getting close enough. If y'all are racing in, they're going to have, y'all are not going to be stealthy. They're going to know you're coming.
I'm following his lead at this point.
I'm hauling
Y'all
all kinds of tail.
slow the crap down.
You're not there to tell them that.
I'm following his lead.
If-
I tried
hey,
to slow down.
If both of
I'm
them
gonna
have to
shoot
reroll
my horse
characters,
out from under it.
I mean,
Well, should we slow down and wait for the rest of the party, or
Are we in? Did you say we are in sight distance of them? Or
Y'all are. He's reading the tracks to realize y'all are getting close.
If you're
They're-
yelling this to him, you're also not being stealthy.
yeah.
no? It's more
Alright,
of a should
so
we
I'm
slow
just-
down and
I'm
wait for the
just
party?
clarifying. Grasslands.
Grassland. Actually, this is heading more into forested area.
Okay.
It's been about 2 hours since you left the road.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So you know if maintaining
Which one of
this
the three of us
speed,
has been driving the cart? Or he's on the donkey, isn't he?
he is
So it's just us.
probably
It's probably you driving it then.
20 or
Right.
30
I have
minutes
animal
behind you,
proficiency.
okay.
and they're
Maybe
another
God.
10 or 15 minutes behind him.
You left
All
the
right. So as
spellcaster,
we
the tough dwarf.
get to the forested
plans.
it starts getting thicker. I'll start slowing down.
We're gonna slow down and wait for the rest of
as-
the party.
As y'all are also getting to this point, it is getting later in the evening. You are seeing signs that these people, this group, is also slowing down and probably going to be preparing for their evening also.
Okay, maybe we should wait here and for the rest of our group.
How hard of a time did I have driving the cart? Since I don't have animal handling.
Don't.
Why would you?
Because it makes it more fun that way.
It does. If you want to roll an animal handling,
Oh my god!
I really don't, but you know,
if there
we
was
got
such a thing,
abandoned.
if there was such a thing as a driving check,
Cart is flipped.
that's what this would be.
So if you nat one this, everyone in the cart dies. Just understand that.
Great meeting you guys.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing: you're steering a well-trained horse
Yeah.
on a path that is fairly clearly marked. Like it is traveled. There are other carts and people that have gone on it ahead of you. It's not worn down into an actual road yet, but it's still fairly clearly marked. Unless you want to start going through the night.
I'm just trying to catch up. Because 3 of them left us behind.
Yeah, you're about 45 minutes from the front runners now, although you don't know exactly how far behind you are.
Yeah. So because I'm at a pretty good, decent middle place between the two of them, am I able to see them and see the people up front? Or is it like not?
You're able to every now and then, when the wind blows right, hear the rattling of the cart as it's racing along behind you. Actually, let me just.
Lauren, if you want to know, I did the math. At those speeds, over 2 hours, they're 2.25 miles ahead of Halbert and I.
Okay. So.
Of course, they would
That's
do.
just genius. Another mile between Halbert and I on the cart.
Let's see. 2.5 miles.
2.25.
2.25. Excuse me. 2.25. Oh, the math of this. At a walking speed, someone can normally walk.
2 trains leaving Chicago.
Right. This is supposed to be
What
fantasy, not
what color
math.
is the watermelon?
We'll say you can't make visual at this point. But you can, when the wind's right, you can hear the cart rattling behind you. You are not sure about how far behind you
Dwarven
are.
cursing, a lot of it.
Behind Slex and Val.
Ryan is joining you.
You Dwarven? Oh, awesome.
Of course she knows.
It's a bonding moment. But
You
that
guys
was
are sitting
last
in-
episode.
You guys are sitting in the cart cursing in Dwarven.
She's like, let me teach you what an infernal, darling.
Yes, I love it.
So if this is a thing, go ahead and mark on your character sheet. You can curse an infernal.
Oh, I'm writing that down.
Yes,
cool.
This is why I love D&D.
That's cool. You know, infernal cursing.
If only learning other languages was really that easy.
First, so.
I mean, you can pick up a couple of curse words pretty easily in any language.
Learn to speak 3 different languages, always the first thing I learned was how to swear.
Pretty much.
All right, so we're going to start approaching, right? Casator and I are about the same speed. We've got 2 interesting knuckle heads up in front of us.
I will make it very clear that I was only following Val, who wasn't slowing down, despite how much.
By the way, Val didn't stop.
Okay, so you're.
So we got to the edge, jumping off horse, and trying
I
to
teach you some back in giant.
keep.
That's
fine.
Yeah. I should have never let the dadgum little.
You don't know this. You're still behind me.
You're still a little ways behind.
So not getting too far ahead of where it starts actually becoming forest, but trying to at least make sure that we don't lose sight. We don't lose them.
Bonding.
Okay.
I mean, Val, are you concerned about maybe losing our party?
Halbert's pretty good at tracking. I don't think we'll have that much of a problem.
I don't know, maybe just waiting for a massive party that just beset a caravan. Maybe the 2 of us should not be hunting down this group just yet.
Like someone to tell him that's how his father died.
That's literally what happened.
Hey!
Perhaps maybe we should not just go wandering off, and we should wait here for the rest of the group and move ahead as a group.
I'm not gonna leave the cave.
Val, roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh,
Actually, this is a wisdom check.
We've
Straight
been
wisdom check. We'll
derailed.
do that.
It's amazing.
Heck yes.
Connor is
24.
24. You do feel Tama stirring in your minds. And there's definitely this chaotic sort of joy that starts washing over you.
Well, if you run ahead, I'm not sure I'm going to follow you anymore.
knowing how far the group is behind us and seeing the woods up in front of us, what am I looking at? Like, how much time until I get to the edge of the woods, and how much time do I guesstimate they are behind us? Because
you're guesstimating. If Jordan wants to help out with the math on this one too, that would be great. Otherwise, guesstimating 30 to 45 minutes ahead, based on about 15 minutes the cart's behind you.
all right, gonna move and hit the line of the woods, and then I'm gonna wait for the cart.
All right. While you're approaching, there's this 30-minute period where you're traveling. Soyix has stopped at the edge of the woods in this 30-minute period. What are you doing, Val?
I'm gonna tie off the horse and just do this frantic pacing back and forth of like going into the woods, realizing that, hey, this is not a great idea. Coming back, realizing that I really don't give a darn, and start this just back and forth pacing thing.
As you are pacing back and forth in the woods, make a perception check for me.
I'm good at those. 22.
Close to the path, just a little ways off of it, you find a small doll. Like little child size.
The DM is baiting you.
Yeah.
So hard.
The hair is made of yellow yarn, homespun. Looks like the body itself is made of rag, and there is a crudely drawn face on it. 2 eyes, the mouth. The head is tied off with a little bit of string, and the body itself is just sort of dangling.
Anybody else seeing that scene from Mulan when Sean?
Yes!
We can't have a simple trip to wipe around.
We just watched that movie yesterday too.
It's a good movie.
Yes. All right.
Nothing's ever easy.
No, I'm the frantic pacing just increased. Boing 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 boing, like 30 feet of.
Solix, just knock him out, like straight up, right here, right now.
I feel like it'd just be easier if you just put it back in your necklace.
A little while later,
I shouldn't have let him out.
Halberd arrives.
Oh my gosh.
Kazator, you're also arriving with Halberd at this point. Right. So you two are following the tracks, and you're coming along, and you see Val has dismounted and is pacing back and forth just inside of the forest line here. The tracks are still clearly marked, and you can see evidence of things are starting to slow down. It looks like once they hit the woods, the carts also started moving a little bit slower. What are y'all doing?
He's holding a doll in his hand, right? I'm guessing he's not hiding that, and I've got a pretty high passive perception.
No, I'm like death gripping this doll.
Yeah, you see this.
Do I recognize it? Like something that I might have given somebody? Like a little girl?
You do not recognize it, no.
Good deal. Perfect.
Go
All
ahead.
Right. Okay.
If you would like, I will go ahead and also let you make a perception check. Because you've been following or a survival check, because you've been following the tracks also.
Survival is going to be a 21.
21. One of the things that you hadn't noticed before, as you're getting into the woods, you see the trees themselves are seeming to very subtly have been grown in a specific way to make them easier to move through. Like this is there's an artificialness to this path coming to the woods. That is it's niggling your senses a little bit. This is not quite a natural formation of how the trees grow.
All right, I'm gonna relay that. I'm gonna ride over to Solix and say, well, I'm glad to see y'all are waiting. I'm kind of guessing that was your call.
No, that was definitely our friend Val. Tried to get him to slow down.
You told him to keep going? He said he was going to wait. Or you said you were going to wait.
Nope. We took off, and then after I realized what direction they were going, I was going to slow down and wait for you guys. He was not wanting to slow down. There's something not right going on with him right now.
Kind of like a father-like son.
Something like that.
Especially since he's been making contact. I'm a little bit concerned.
So I wouldn't go that far.
Last thing I want is someone to get himself killed for stupid decisions.
Oh, I don't see that. Well, that might happen again.
He does have the same spirit and apparently same deity.
I wonder how many other members of his family we might encounter.
Oh, I wonder how many of his other members of his family are dead from the same idea.
Are we getting close or?
Within the next 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
The cart arrives.
This doesn't seem quite natural. The trail seems grown, is implanted and prepared. So I'm guessing this is someone's territory. Would this be like something I might be familiar with based on my work with the woods in my battalion, monitoring the edges? Would we have had something like that where if someone were to come in, we would have created something, baited them into a specific area where we liked it?
Actually, no, I'll just go ahead and give this one to you for your background. As a matter of fact, you are well familiar with intentional creating paths that don't feel like paths, where to make it easier for your people to go particular places and do particular things. You get the sense that while this is not often traveled, this is prepared as when we come this way, it'll be easier for us to move through here.
Gotcha. And does it seem like these tracks, based off what I've seen and what I know, these tracks are navigating, from what I can tell, just entering in pretty well?
The tracks are following this trail that has been prepared pretty exactly.
Cool. All right.
Well, now that everybody's here, would we like to continue?
Is everybody here?
Yes, at this point, everybody has arrived.
Yes.
They heard a
we need
bunch
to
of
go.
aggressive sounding words and languages they didn't know. The two of us, I imagine.
I know Infernal, thank you.
So you got half of it.
Here's some abyssal for you.
During this time,
Right, hold on, let me write it down.
while we're waiting for the cart in between, I'm going to walk beside Val as he's pacing back and forth in all match stride. Just be like, easy, son. I know angst, I know ready to go. But good call to wait. Because it's no use you getting in trouble when we're not able to be there to help. We're gonna take care of this. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get him out. All right.
Yes, we've waited long enough.
The
last thing you want to do is give Slavers a chance to flee.
We're waiting for everybody else in this moment. So the others haven't shown up. So we're waiting for the rest.
Timey-wimey.
Okay. I didn't realize we were timey-wiming this.
I said that while we're going back and forth, like while we're waiting for them. So
gotcha.
A short time later, the cart arrives with Rai and Doran. Are y'all going to leave the horses and cart here? Or are you going to follow?
I mean, the trail is obviously conducive for carts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
How much further ahead do we feel like they are?
Not far. Once they hit the wood line, the tracks slowed down. You can see that they were not moving at as quick a speed. And with evening falling, you get the sense that they are very shortly going to be settling down for the night.
All right. We'll move in. I'm going to explain the terrain and what I noticed about it, creating a little bit of a potential ease of passway, which means that this is not just neutral ground, and we need to be careful. And then if I've got everybody close, I'll use my last one, pass without trace, so we can be a little bit more quiet as we go about our business.
All right, as y'all start to move into this territory, go ahead and we will take our break Good time for it. So we will roll stealth checks and start moving forward on this when we get back.
Okay.
We should be back in about 15 minutes. Thanks, y'all, for joining us. Are we going to be doing
tech reset.
All right, we will tech reset during the break. So stick around. We will be back, and we will see y'all then. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
So do I get to add 15 minute business?
I can show you the way.
Oh my gosh. Disney meets Mandalorian. Which, I mean,
Disney meets Mandalorian.
I
Right.
like the Mandalorian. You don't like the Mandalorian.
All right.
All right, and on that note, welcome back.
Dude,
so we will go ahead and we will jump right into this. Go ahead, everybody. Make a stealth check. Add the 10 for pass without trace.
I would like to do a thing.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
Can I do a thing?
It's a 16 and a 7, so that's not bad.
Where did I go? I can't find myself.
All right, Doran.
I was asking if I could do a thing. I want to use a rune.
You can go ahead and activate one of your runes.
Yay! I activate Storm Rune so I can future vision.
So
If
that
I
will,
can
if
find
you
a
can
page.
choose to get advantage on a roll.
Yes.
Here in the next minute, you'll be able to go ahead and do that.
Because I imagine things are going to happen.
So that is just a straight roll.
Yes. That was a waste. I got an 8.
8. 18 because you add 10 for pass without trace.
Oh, okay. 18.
Hey,
So
I rolled a
yes.
disadvantage, also have an 18.
Nice. Kazator.
31.
AJ.
Ooh.
Wait, what?
31.
I heard 51.
Nah.
Like,
Halberd, what's yours?
Oh my gosh. I've got a 29.
29, right?
28.
28.
And totally making up with a 32.
Woo!
That's not making up anything.
That is totally making up for my nat one earlier.
Wait, are we making everything up here?
I mean, yeah, that's no, but making up for my nat one earlier.
All right.
You don't technically need to because the only person
So
that got
as
Halberd.
y'all,
That's fair.
oh, we need music. Let's do.
The rest of us don't know by her.
Here we go.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, or I might suspect.
As y'all start making your way through the forest, these low woods that are approaching the campsite before you, and it is a campsite. You see a large group of individuals who are chained together. They their garb matches the 3 youths that you had seen, the one you had spoken to. Generally higher quality linen, not well dressed, workable clothing, but nicer. They are chained together, ankle and hand, and they are in small loops of 10 or 12 or so. And each of those is surrounding a large metal ring that is like a stake pounded into the ground. So they are not very mobile at this moment. There are about 12 guards or so surrounding these rings, and there are 4 different rings. There are a fair number of captives, and you see the vast majority of them are women and kids. There are a couple of men, and the men are separate from all of the rest of them. They have their own ring, and the men are beat to a pulp. Like they are messed up.
Tiefling elf person?
You do in fact see a red-haired elven figure among them.
Okay.
He is currently unconscious on the ground, along with 2 of the other men. The rest of the women and the kids do see like they're up, they're mobile. There are a couple. There are numerous injuries among the adults. The kids are mostly untouched, not really wounded there, but they are. They're on one side of this larger clearing. On the other side, there are 3 campfires. Over one of the largest campfire, there is what looks to be a cooking pot that is full, and there are about 30 brigands, guards, ruffians who are taking their leisure.
So we're up to 42?
Give or take, yeah. These people are relaxed, they are drinking, they are, it looks like, setting up camp and waiting for their dinner.
Okay.
The sun is set at this point.
The sun is almost set. There's just a little bit of light left in the sky.
Well,
once we get in position, I'm assuming Halbert's going to take the first shot, but just right before he does that, I'll try to conceal my quiver and cast flame arrows on it, just like right before.
Okay.
I'm going to reach over, touch Doran,
How many people?
and I'm going to cast Death Ward.
Cool. That does what now? Because I don't know spells.
The first time a target would drop to 0 hit points as a result of taking damage, the target instead drops to 1 hit point and the spell ends.
Hey, thanks. That's a really helpful thing for me.
Well, hey,
I don't know what that voice was.
Talk real quick, quietly. There's at least 42 of them. Are we still doing this?
Just in case things go wrong. But it might
Try
be
to
a
talk
good...
first.
What?
I mean,
I said we can try to talk first.
if we do that, we will definitely give away our position, but...
Yeah, we're not talking about this.
Slavers
but
are
we're
not-
not just outright attacking either.
Slavers
That's
are not
the
going
word.
to listen to words.
No, I agree.
But if we can find a way to unlock the slaves, they can make a run for it on their own.
12 around the slaves.
Am I able to tell how beat up do these people look, these brigands and ruffians? Do they look perfectly fine because they just came from a fight themselves? Or are they a little bit not nice looking?
They are, some of them are definitely beat up. There are some wounds among them that have been treated and bandaged, but for the most part, they are functional, at least. Make a perception check for me.
Death Ward lasts 8 hours, by the way.
Cool. 18.
18. Okay, you do see there are about 6 of the brigands who seem to be more heavily injured. They are grouped together near the cook fire. They seem to be doing more sedentary tasks as they are preparing for the evening's rest.
Wait till they're asleep.
Howard, would you like to use your spyglass to see if you can spot any Brotherhood emblems?
Yep, that's what I was about to do. Do I see anything that stands out about Brotherhood? Anything like that?
Go ahead and make one more perception check, looking specifically for this.
Let's do that again, because I can't roll better than a 9 right now. So how about 18?
18. You do not see any particular... No, actually, on one of the brigands, you do see a 5-pointed star on a pendant. It is wooden. And actually, on the one of the captives, the red-headed elf that you see, you do also see a pendant on him of the Brotherhood.
Color?
Also
what
wooden.
Color? They're both wood.
I can potentially try to draw some of them away. On a bit of a rabbit chase through the woods on the other direction.
Well, anything to either delay their entry into the fight or take them out entirely would be nice.
Okay, unless anyone objects.
Well, are we... What would be the plan here?
I can make it appear as though there are individuals with torches coming the other direction. Notice the brigands here and then are running away. So maybe give them something to chase after in the woods.
I can also cast a guardian in their midst that will aid us in
I'd like to give, whatever we do, give Halberd first shot.
Would we have the ability to maybe create any type of illusion with cards or decks or anything like that?
I do not have that ability.
I have a deck of illusions.
Cool.
So I guess, Albert, if you want to take the first shot, I can run in there and just start throwing cards out.
I think it might be a bit more beneficial if we wait a little bit and wait for the sun to go down to cover our movements, things to calm down a little bit, and then we move then. I think if we move right now with everybody around, create too much chaos, we might create too much of a god. And I don't want that to be the case.
About how long are we planning on taking a moment then? Because I might be able to change out some of my spells.
Oh, really?
Oh, well, I wouldn't suggest waiting very long.
It does look like these people are situated for the night. You don't see them going too many places.
Are you thinking short rest?
Depends on how long a short rest
an hour.
Permitted. Okay.
If we sit for a while, let them actually go to bed. Imagine they feel safe and they'll take off their armor. Except for the ones on watch, we could assault and get more benefit than where they're at right now.
Well, I also, if I have a bit of time to learn it, I can try and use a bit of sleep on them, or perhaps use a color spray to blind a few people.
Would you need to wait till the morning to do that, though?
I should be able to do it on a short rest. I can learn a couple new spells.
Oh, well, that's neat.
Are there tents set up, or does it look like they're just going to sleep in the open?
You do not see any tents being set up. It's a nice enough night. You get the sense that they are probably just gonna stay out.
Do they look like they're taking off their armor, settling in?
Some of them are starting to, yes.
All right.
Bless you.
So, first group that we're going to get out is the elf, red-haired elf over there with the Brotherhood symbol.
Yep, that would be our...
Oh, no, that's still recover spell slots. Never mind.
I would say be ready when I make my action and my move. If anyone is able to cast a large amount of damage, when I move, you'll move as well, and we'll move off of that. If we can draw people away or inflict on a massive amount of a hit in one, we might be able to move and create enough confusion to get people out. If we stay engaged in combat too long in this area with this many people, I don't like our chances.
We could potentially do both. I can try and draw them away, and then try and, if there's still too many, take a few out.
All right.
Lauren, just for clarification on this deck, I can only draw one card as an action?
I believe so. Let me see.
I want to make sure that that's what it was. You didn't mistype it, or I'm understanding it correctly. And can I have more than one card out at a time? Because it doesn't say.
Are any
It's an action for each card that you draw. So you can draw more than one. If you want. But they'll come up 6 seconds apart.
Okay. But I can have more than one card out at a time. Okay.
All of the captives are in chains.
Yes.
And they're attached to a ring, and all of that's like staked in the ground metal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Would this look familiar? Is this completely outside of the realm of what I would be used to keeping prisoners with?
I mean, you may not have seen this exact setup before, but this is not. Remind me.
Does it appear to be anything magical outside of this in purpose, outside of just, I want to keep prisoners here?
Make actually with your perception check. You haven't seen anything explicitly magical at this point. Remind me, on your way to Grimhold, Solyex and Kazator, was it the two of y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We saw the pit.
So this, not the pit. Y'all came across a clearing.
Mm-hmm. With buried chains and bodies. There were some bodies buried.
Y'all found two things, I think. I think it was the two of y'all who found two things. You found one of the grave was one of them. You did also find a clearing.
Clear, like a circle.
And yes, and you had found deep holes where things had been staked before, and the setup is very reminiscent of that to you.
Oh, okay. So I guess the plan here is, do we wish to attack now or wait until they go to bed?
Till things calm down a little bit.
How far away from
armor
them are we?
off if we're able to.
In the
then
woods,
we'll
you're
go.
probably about 80 to 100 feet off of the clearing, just close enough to barely see through the trees.
How was their camp set up again? It was everybody's lying down on the ground.
On one sort of half of it, you see the prisoners, essentially, who are grouped into groups of 10 and 12, and there are 3 of those staked in different circles, and there's about 12 guards surrounding them as a whole, and then on the other half, you see most of the rest of the brigands. The slavers, essentially.
Nothing set up, nothing else extra that they have set up, or is
You see the fires, you see the cook pots, you just see the prisoners themselves chained together and staked to the ground.
Move up within range. Let me know when the armor is mainly off and everyone's kind of at ease.
Yeah, I think we'll wait until they go to bed. I would say let everybody go to bed, that watch post up for about an hour, and then we'll hit. So give them time to get a little relaxed in their watch while everyone else is sleeping, and then start the chaos.
I mean, if we're gonna wait like an hour, can I use that to rest and get my rune back?
That depends. What are you doing
I
over this rest?
don't think we're waiting an hour.
You want to wait that long?
I think that's no.
Well, I mean, they're not going anywhere, and the longer we wait, the more relaxed they'll be.
Pass without trace only lasts for an hour.
Yeah, but if we're not moving,
right? If we're just gonna lay in wait here, we can lay in wait here, and then we'll be. I guess are we within like 600 feet of them, so we can make a shot?
You're within 600 feet, yeah.
she said we're 80 to 100.
Yeah,
80 to 100 feet out.
So we're.
And actually, at about this point, Val, Kazator, and Halberd, the 3 of y'all do notice a pair of these slavers starting to move quietly, patrolling through the camp. Or not through the camp, but through the woods around the camp, starting a circuit.
Would you like for me to try and distract them?
How long has it been? I'm just curious. Sorry.
15 minutes maybe.
Is there any rocky terrain, or is it all just like forest floor?
This is forest floor at this point. This is pretty well into the woods.
Oh, that's so happy.
Let them go.
He wants to be free.
Let the
patrol
go.
Let the
Wait the
patrol-
hour.
Yeah, wait the hour. Let them calm down.
We are going to. We need to be careful because we do have a patrol that's roving right now. Move up a bit closer. That way, we're not trying to rush into a fight. We need to be able to have access.
Yep. I mean,
any way we could,
I think, yeah.
Batman those 2 guys.
I would think, let's move up just through the border of their camp where we can still be fairly concealed.
At this point, the patrol has passed in front of y'all and is starting to complete their circle around the camp.
Cool.
How long is it taking for them to about walk their circle? What's that time
From
like?
what y'all see, they do 1 lap, and then they go and they switch off with 2 of the guards, and it takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes
15
maybe
minutes a
for
lap?
them to do a lap, and then
Are
they
they
switch off with
inside
another
the
set of
woods?
guards. They
Or
are
are they
inside the
walking the
woods.
perimeter
At
of
this
the
point,
woods?
they're patrolling between 60 and 80 feet away from where the clearing is at. They're inside the woods a bit, just circling around it. And then they go back and they head back in, and then they switch out with another set of guards.
Should we try to, right before we launch, try to take out the 2 patrols?
They'll take out both of them. We could try to take out.
If they're close enough to each other, I can hit them both at the same time.
But to a degree where you can take out all 4. You may be able to hit all 4, but to actually take out all 4?
No, it's only 2 patrolling at a time, right?
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm talking about like when they pass in front of us.
Right, yeah. We're talking about the same things then.
Yeah. We can take them out.
Y'all are seeing at this point the
Howard could definitely take out 1.
there are a number of slavers who are starting to take shifts and starting to eat their dinner. They're starting to settle down. The meal looks like it's been prepared, and they are relaxing around the other campfires.
I think we'd be better off just waiting here until they
I'm
relax.
sitting down, just taking a breather.
I think we'd be better off waiting here. They could
Just
let them settle in for the night and then go.
all right. Then while we're waiting, if that's what everyone wants to do, I would like to take this opportunity to blend in to the woods.
Okay. What are you wanting to do at this point?
Not be seen. I believe as a ranger. Let me read this to make sure.
About what, Mask of the Wilds or whatever? It's a useful skill. Can you do that to all of us or just yourself?
As an elf, sorry. No, as an elf. Just for myself.
So I thought Rangers also had a hide.
That's
thing.
level. That's a higher level.
Okay.
Mask of the Wild.
Okay.
I can hide even when slightly obscured by foliage, heavy rain, falling snow, mist, and other natural phenomenon.
At this point, to the best of your knowledge, you are already hidden.
Good deal.
All right. So y'all are waiting. How long? What are you
About
waiting
an hour.
for?
Yeah, until it looks like they're fairly well settled in for the night and their guard is down, they're relaxing.
Okay. So over the course of the next hour, y'all do see the group of them is relaxing. They're taking their dinner, eating in shifts. The patrol through the woods is consistent. There are always some on guard. But over the next hour, some of them, especially the more wounded ones, are settling down for their evening's rest. They have laid out their bedrolls. By the time about an hour has passed, probably close to a third of them have already gone to sleep. The others have taken off their armor, so there's a third that's asleep. About a third of them, 15 to 20 of them, have taken off their armor and are relaxing. And then there are the others that are on guard. The 10 to 12 around the prisoners, and then another 4 or so that are just watching in the main camp area.
Well, I mean, this seems like the best.
So it has been about an hour?
It's been about an hour at this point, yes. The sun has completely gone down. You are in darkness at this point. The only light sources are the 3 campfires that are in the bandits' camp.
So since we've basically just been sitting here waiting for those of us who would like to recover some things, can we count that as a short rest?
I'll permit it.
Good job.
I'm a benevolent DM.
I said I sat down and I was taking a break.
You did say that.
I said those words. Those are words I did say.
All right. Shall we move?
My third level
They're
back.
effect on the word.
Shall we wait for the next patrol move, and as it passes, move forward before we attack?
I don't think we should move. We're not going to move until it's time to go, because that really gives risk to us giving away our position.
Well, right. That's what he means.
But
When do we want to go? Do you want to go
Alright.
when they're right in front of us, or wait until they're on the far side of camp?
So what I'm worried about is we're 80 to 100 feet away.
We didn't move in closer. All right.
And then because they're patrolling about.
Yeah, we stayed right outside of their patrol circle.
Yeah. So if you fire a shot now before we move, it's going to take us 2 rounds to even get into the fray for our short-legged friend.
I mean, that's only,
I'm short.
we can be in the fray in under a minute before half the camp is even awake and getting on armor.
I'm just thinking for those of us who are not.
And some of these people are wounded?
Yes.
So for those that are not ranged fighters, it'd be better for y'all not to have to take that many rounds to get up there and start dealing damage.
I think it'll be best if we wait for the patrol to be on the far side of us and then begin approaching.
Mm-hmm.
And then if our cover is blown before we just get up and head in.
Yep.
Just a clarifying question. So the plan is to try and wait until everyone is asleep, so that some people are a little bit slower to wake up, and then somehow manage to get 20 people who are chained out of there, some of whom are also wounded, and not get killed at the same time?
Yep. About as far as we got. As far as plans go, that one's not the worst one.
This is bolstering my confidence, darling.
As it should.
If there's a way that we could get in and get people out, I think that would be beneficial. But the amount of people on guard right now, I think we can't. So if you're able to make your distraction and get them away a little bit quickly, that cuts the odds for us quite a bit. If we can get people moving away from the campsite. And then we do our best to clear up what's left and get the people out within that.
Well, if we want to have myself and Doran rush in, and I don't know how we're going to go in and work on the locks and try to get everybody free, because we can get everybody out, then we can start.
I can also project a divine guardian over the slaves. If I can get within a certain amount of feet.
I think we want to draw attention to them. Want to draw attention away from the
slaves. Like the quality of the locks or anything, how easy it would be to
You can make
bust
it appear as though there was a person on the far side of the camp, away from us, from where the slaves are.
Yeah, I believe we want to draw attention away from the slaves as much as possible.
I can also potentially
perception.
If we can find a small space, a hidden space, dimension door into there with halberd, so he can start working on.
Nice. Okay.
Well, how well lit is like the area where the slaves are? Is it like pretty well lit?
Fairly dimly lit. They don't have any particular campfires over in that area. They're relying on the warmth provided for the brigands and where they're sleeping. You do see that the slaves, for the most part, are not asleep. The kids generally are, but the adults are wounded and murmuring softly amongst themselves.
The other concern is that they're wounded. If we can't even, we can free them, but if we can't get them out,
correct,
and they've got nowhere to go, we're going to have to clear some sort of path or get some sort of healing going.
And just
them.
for the edification of the group, slavers are not going to just ignore their
this is going to be a
cargo.
Blacksmith's opinion, those chains don't look like they're made out of high quality metal, so it might be a little bit easier to break them.
All right.
Well, I can't guarantee they're super weak, but from what I can tell from here, they look like they're a little bit cheaper.
Maybe time to.
How many of y'all have got the ability to affect large masses of people in bulk with damage?
Do you hit one?
Do you have fireball?
I only have one axe, lad. I can make one at a time.
I have large
axe, hammer axe.
I've got AoE spells.
It depends on how closely they're clustered.
I would say if we're able to target the tent, someone is able to target the tents, clear out that. If worst comes to worst, something to keep them occupied is going to be best, and clear out as many as we're able to, especially while they're asleep and weak. Because
go ahead.
If we're trying to do a mass rescue, we're going to have to get people out.
Just out of curiosity, how far away are they sleeping from the slaves?
Why don't I go ahead and pull up the map?
I was wondering. Wait, so you're a wizard that doesn't do fireball?
No, she doesn't.
Oh, well,
she works at a library. Fire is bad with books.
Useless wizard.
Okay, that's fair though.
Those are
well, we're adventuring right now. Surely somewhere along her travels she would have learned to spell fireball just for an instance like this.
No, not at all. She's a tiefling, so she has hellish rebuke.
She's a terrible wizard.
Alright, let's move our stuff back so she's got ready.
Psych, she's not actually a wizard.
One more thing I've been lying to y'all about.
I feel very lied to.
Well, honestly, that's the only thing she's told you. Or hasn't told you.
I mean, in her defense, technically, none of us asked her if she was an elf. We kind of just assumed, so she never lied about that either.
Are you sure you didn't watch the episode? That is the exact argument I made.
All right. So, generally...
Well, my conversation with you.
Yes.
The slaves, captives, I should say, are on this side of the clearing, through here. The brigands are more clustered over here. There's about a 30-foot distance between the two groups.
And we're like over here?
Y'all are a little off the map.
Okay.
But on which side, though?
Which side would you prefer to be on?
Well,
we'll say
whatever side we approach from. Whichever side we approach
yeah,
from.
which
so
side did we come in from?
Y'all came from the north.
Okay, then we would be on that side over there.
Okay. Okay, that actually works because I can cast the Guardian right between them, and if they come within X amount of feet of the Guardian, they start taking serious damage.
Okay, so it's not just an illusory Guardian.
No, it's a straight up.
Okay.
Perhaps we'll wait until it becomes apparent that they've noticed something's going on.
You mean after Hubbard's shot somebody and killed them?
If we're able to get any of them away
and
first.
start stabbing them.
Well, I'll tell you that if they are slavers, the first thing they're going to do is head straight for the slaves. So as soon as I move, we need to do that.
Yes, of course.
You'll see as it's starting to get later in the evening, and getting into the night, there's a certain laxness that's overcoming the guards, where you see more of them relaxing, talking to each other, leaning a little bit. They're not as
Water cooler talk.
essentially, yes. They are confident in their ability and in their group, and this is their comfort zone, and they're not necessarily as attentive as they would be if they were more on edge.
Well, are there guards moving away? You said there are how many per circle of slaves at first?
Say that one more time.
How many guards are there per group of slaves?
There are 10 guards encircling the entire group of slaves.
Oh, the entire group. I thought it was per circle.
Nope.
That's happy. Are they dispersing it all as night is coming on?
They're actually clustering closer together in 2s and 3s. You see that they are not maintaining as significant a border, a watch around them. There are gaps.
Where are the gaps?
Why don't we go ahead and set some of the people out so y'all can see.
Yay, minis!
All the minis.
We haven't had a map.
These aren't necessarily exactly representative, but y'all will get the idea. These are people. There are
Those
2
are
of them.
guard peoples?
These are guard peoples.
The guard peoples, yeah.
What are the odds I could shoot through 2 at once?
Probably not very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with not great.
You have to get a natural 40.
I can bring that dice out.
Bring out a D100.
It's all hundreds.
Yep.
Oh, hey.
And I am moving things around because my arms are not that long.
Like that.
And there's one more. We'll
These
say
guys mostly look like fantasy dumpster divers, or like
essentially brigands. Not terribly well armed or armored.
they're living like they're diving.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
No. I just took a D4 of psychic damage, alright?
Okay, well, I mean,
Go ahead and use.
we can sit around here as much as we want, and then Dave should probably move in.
Yeah. As soon as
There's one ring here that the slaves are around, the captives. One here and one there.
And
This is the
where
one
the
where
red
the men are.
Okay.
Well, the gents are KO right now.
No, only about 4 of the gents are
And
KO.
the red die, that's the one that has.
That's the one that has the red-headed elf.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's this one, John, if you
Um,
can't see.
The black and the green are more women and children.
Okay, that's these. Alright. So as soon as
Actually, we'll say this was probably closer to there.
as soon as the gods are on that side to patrol, we go.
Yep. Let's do it.
Alright, that's what we're doing. We're just doing a thing.
And Rye is going to.
Do you want to send your distraction?
If that's what everyone would like, I can attempt. It would basically make it look like there's people out in the woods that are running away from them.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Perhaps this way.
Yeah. Put
Yes,
something-
perhaps that way.
Yeah.
I'm
Send the
all for it.
distraction right at us.
For something.
Okay. So I'm gonna start off using. Oh. Were you gonna say something?
Do we want to strike first or distract first? Do we want everyone to give up a
I feel like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, both go.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So
Sounds
I'll
good.
go, or I'm
So
not?
if you shoot whoever's close to us, Halberd, she'll.
So you see a
distract.
patrol of 2 come in, switch off with these, and then start on their patrol. They're heading out, coming this way.
All right, that's best time to go.
Yep. So.
Under my breath,
Sounds good.
flavor text.
Yep,
I just
I know what I
say
wanna
a
do.
little prayer
So
to
Halberd, you shoot. Rye, you distract.
Yep.
You say a prayer.
to myself.
How
Under
far
my
away is the
breath to
general?
Morden. Just flavor text.
Say again, Jordan.
Yeah.
How far away is the general group?
Morden, please. Don't worry
They're about 80 feet away from you right now.
So out kind of this direction, I'm going to use thaumaturgy to make it sound like there's ominous whispers. And then I'm going to use dancing lights to make it appear as though there are 4 torches coming towards the camp. Stop. The whispers cut off, the torches die, and make it sound like they're running away.
Okay. So as you enact these spells,
I'm gonna touch Halberd and cast guidance.
you see as soon as the whispers get close enough to be audible, the guards start. Did you hear something?
Halberd, you should
No,
shoot.
I mean it's fine. It's fine. No, wait. What's that? Look over there. What do you? That's something. I see it, and they see the lights coming towards them. There's people, and you see about half of them start slinking slowly. This guy, and these 3 start heading
And
off.
Which one is
into
the
the
strongest
woods,
looking around the group
tracing
that
the
has
sound.
got the elk?
The rest of them start spreading themselves back out.
Okay.
Are
This
there-
guy's over there at
Is
that
their
point.
attention perhaps?
Which
focused
one's
over
closest
here?
to me?
This
Probably this one.
one
I would
right
like
here.
to sharpshooter, and I'm going to strike that one
Okay. Go ahead. Go for
with
it.
assassin.
You see the patrol also that had been coming around over here is now also heading that way into the woods.
Into the woods. And home before dark.
And you are hidden, so if you don't already, you can have advantage on that attack.
Oh, I have advantage?
Yes.
I'll take that.
I didn't realize you were using thaumaturgy. I'd helped you on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of us have.
Does guidance get to count on a strike or not? Because he said he cast guidance on me.
I believe guidance is for ability checks.
Yeah, bless would be.
Bless would be for
What?
attacks.
I don't know why I said. I don't know why I said guidance.
Yep, bless would have been.
Yeah, bless would have been.
Yeah,
what I was
bless.
going for.
Guidance is an ability check.
Yeah.
Guidance is a cantrip though.
Yeah.
How does a 17 work?
17 hits. Come on, come on, come on. Go ahead and roll damage.
So when it's a crit, because they're surprised, I'm guessing this person is surprised. He's not expecting to be shot in the back.
Yes, this is true.
So do I count in like this crit increase my dex attack too, or just the
No, crit is just for the dice. Double the
Cool.
dice and then add the modifier after.
36?
Okay. You shoot your arrow through the trees. It sinks into this guy's back. He doesn't even get to make a sound. He just drops.
Nice.
Woo!
Clear the map a little bit.
Thank you.
Digital
At this
fist
point,
bump.
I want everybody else to go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a bad one.
Oh.
So
I'm really
everyone-
unsettled by this.
Lauren, do
Waste my
you want me
one
to roll
natural 20,
2,
I'm
or
gonna
you
get
said everyone else?
You go ahead and roll 2.
I'm really unsettled by this.
Alright. Well, that was a really, really bad start.
Yeah.
No, dude.
Ouch. This is not where it should be. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Alright.
Were you not expecting to get into combat with this group?
No. I got a nat 20. Should not be starting this.
Yeah, this is great. Our casters are going first, and our tanks are going last.
Should not be starting this.
Actually, that's not bad because we're still 80 feet away.
I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
Well,
you might want to
use
figure
that
that
fire.
out.
Wait, what's
Hold
your
on,
what's
you don't
your
have that.
initiative, Mon?
1.
Okay, you're going after me.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Which bolt?
25 to 20.
24.
Do I actually have to learn?
20 to 15.
Oh, it's 21. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm not paying attention. I'm freaking out.
Halberd, you got
15.
Kazator, Solgex, Doran. What'd y'all get?
13.
Wow.
13, 3, and 6.
Y'all are terrible.
But I got a nat 20 when I was designing tools. It's that negative on intelligence. Yeah, I'm just a big dumb. Blame it on that.
We're going to, whether you tell us to.
Yeah.
All right. Val, you're up first.
I don't like this.
Neither do I.
I'm gonna move.
As far as you can tell, they're still unaware. They haven't quite noticed their friend dropping down.
Yeah. Shoot, that still won't get me close enough. All right, I'm gonna move 30 feet forward.
Okay, so you're about 50 feet away. Go ahead and keep track of that.
Thank you. All right, and I'm going to. And just making sure I got it right.
I will say, the brigands are not aware. The captives definitely are.
All right. And don't forget, you still have Death Ward on you.
Yes, no, yeah. I
Um,
only get 2 death saves. I'm
So
very
are we
aware of dying.
40 from like here, 40 from.
Oh yeah,
40
that's
from the edge of the clearing. So from this line is where I'm counting it.
Okay, okay.
So you're 30 feet off of the map here. Moving 30 feet forward puts you right on the edge of the map.
okay. I misunderstood.
You're 50. So everybody who is 80 feet and takes their turn to move forward, that's where they're going to start.
Okay, so
Does that make sense?
right here, or
At the end of your next turn, that's where you'll be.
so we're 80 feet from this line.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
okay, that makes much more sense. Okay.
Oh, I think I know what I
So that was your action. No, that was your movement.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
you doing as your action?
I'm going to. Do any of the brigands look like casters?
Not that you can tell, no.
Okay.
Not the ones that are awake, at least.
Oh. That was tricksy. Okay. You said the other group's over here?
Yes.
Casting silence over them.
Okay. What's the area
100,
on silence?
20-foot radius.
20-foot radius. Yeah, no, that's the entire area there.
Yep.
Okay, so the whole other camp is now silenced.
Yep.
Perfect.
No sound can be created within or passed through.
Yep.
So if they're all asleep, they're staying asleep.
They are asleep.
Good. All right.
All right, and then I'm going to so move that can't bonus action. So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Right. What are you doing?
If I move my full 30, who all would be within 60 feet of me?
The captives here.
They're the only ones?
Yeah. You don't get enemies quite at that point.
Shoot, okay. That means I'm not able to do that. Okay. I will move. I'm going to double dash, so I'm closer.
Okay.
Or just dash, so I'm closer, but I don't want to actually get in within range. I just want to make it so that I'm within range of the rest of these guys for my next
So
turn.
you show up right at the edge of the map.
Okay.
Are you in your elven form or your tiefling? Are you wearing your charm or not?
Probably Elven at this point.
Okay. So we'll say you're right on the edge there. Having dashed forward.
We have been walking the edge.
Now we're 80 feet from the line, so 60 versus 20.
Yeah.
So, okay. So make sure I'm figuring out what I'm going to be doing now.
Alright, Halberd, you're up next. What are you doing, sir?
Ooh.
Unless there's anything else you wanted to do, right?
No.
Bonus action? Anything? Okay. Halberd.
So, who else is closest? Looks a little like if I took a shot, it would not raise awareness on the person.
You have one other figure over here who is all by his lonesome. You might be able to get a shot on him without anybody else being aware.
Cool. Would he be suspecting it?
His attention is still focused in the woods, following the dancing lights that he had
Let's do it
seen.
again. Sharpshooter, and we'll shoot somebody else. Oh, nat 20.
Nice.
Crit once again.
Very nice. Go
Which
ahead and
it
roll the
would've been
damage on
crit
that.
anyways, this is a surprise.
So roll the dice, double the dice,
Mm-hmm.
and then add your modifier.
Oh, yes. Um, 26 plus 10 plus 4 is 40.
Yeah. You see
gonna
him
take 'em all out.
just fall to the ground.
Who else do I have on site?
There are 3 others that you can see, but they're clustered a little closer together, and there are captives between you and them. You'd have to move probably a little closer to get a clear shot.
I ignore 3/4 coverage.
I'll let you have it. The captives are on the
Fine.
ground.
Also question.
Yes.
On Assassinate, I'm deadliest when I get my drop on my enemies, and I have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn in combat yet. Does that include my second attack?
Let me look.
Because I know sneak attack only is once per turn, but
Well, you'd have advantage since they haven't taken a turn in combat yet. They're not aware of where you are. You're still getting a drop on them. Go ahead. If you want to take your extra attack, I would give it to you. Until I look at it closer and find out I'm doing it wrong. Go ahead and take it.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
It's your game. You get to play it the rules however you want.
It's home.
They're more like guidelines than official rules.
Yes, this is true.
Anything that helps us.
also, from the past, I've had arrows that I bought. Before I got this poison stuff, I had poison arrows and things like that.
Yes.
And we were playing that previously as a d6 of poison damage, but not poisonous, like not
Yes.
poisoning them. Does that remain the same?
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and use one of those on a character.
Okay. Which one are you
And
targeting?
sharpshooter. Which one's in the back and would not be as noticed?
There are 2 that are a little closer together. They're both farther back. It'll be a flip of a coin to see whether they'll notice or not. There's one that's a little farther apart. You'll have a better chance of him not being noticed, but he's closer to the front.
He's underneath this tree. So one
Oh,
here.
so there. So time out on the map. Where are we? Because
We're not on the map.
You're not on the map yet. You're
So
on this side.
we're on this. Okay. Somebody, can we mark something to show what side? Because where I'm at is kind of hard to tell.
Have night bane.
Beautiful. It's dark.
This one's underneath the tree.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take the front guy under the tree.
This guy?
The guy under the tree or the...
Sorry, guy in the back. Sorry, go back to the tree. Yeah, that one. That's not a tree, it's the side. That's another person.
Yep.
All right.
Why not? Let's just see what we get. And sharpshooter. Plus 5. Is a 15 hit?
15 does hit. Roll
Nice.
damage.
Do it.
And he's surprised, right?
Yes.
That's a crit.
Yeah, Rose in their
34.
assassination.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
34.
34. He also sinks to the ground. You do notice that as he drops, there is some sort of death gurgle. This awful sound that he makes. His companion turns and looks over, sees him sink with the arrow point sticking out of his throat forward as he's dropping. There's just this look on his face as he's going down. They are aware of your presence now, but that is 3 of them out of the way.
So, Nightbane, if he moves up, he's going to move up quietly. Towards the prisoners. Nightbane's going to be moving up.
Wasn't Nightbane in your necklace?
No, I was riding him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I landed on that. Well, he switched us at one point, but
He did switch you, but
yeah.
That's why.
Just want to make sure.
When we approached, I damped him out and went.
Yes.
Use your words.
If I move up my 35 feet, how close am I to the guy who noticed me?
80 minus 35 would be 45 feet.
Okay, never mind.
To the line, and then an additional.
Good deal. That's all I wanted to know.
About 80 to 100 feet away.
Cool. Not a worries. I was just curious. Yep. I'll move it up. Nightbane will move up nice and slow, and I'll move up beside him.
All right, you'll move up beside him. Halberd's up here with Nightbane. It is now the captive's turn. They see the excitement, the things that are happening around them, and the ones that are awake are starting to wake up the people who are asleep. They're motioning to stay quiet, but they're awake, they're aware, and you see some of them are starting to try and pull and twist and try and get the spikes up and out of the ground. Unfortunately, they are not able to do so at the one camp there. The men are able to get a start on the spike. They're able to get it about halfway up. You do see, although there are a couple of them that are groggy, they are all conscious at this point. And the ones at the green spike are also trying but unable to make progress.
Very sexist DM.
Them
The
dice.
dice.
Them dice be crazy.
Casator, you're up.
Okay, I will move 30 feet towards the nearest group, because there's still assailants around the captives that Halbert hasn't dropped.
Yes, there are 2 that are supposedly guarding that are aware of aware that they're under attack. There are 7 that are off in the woods chasing dancing lights, and the rest of the camp, about 30 or so, are asleep.
Okay. I'll move my 30 feet towards them, and that puts me 50 feet out from them, right?
Yes. 50 feet out from the closest captive. You're about 80 feet from the closest enemy.
Okay, well, he's still within my disadvantage range, so I'm going to just go ahead and take my 2 shots with disadvantage with my crossbow.
All right. Go ahead and roll for it.
First
shot.
one, 17 and 18. That's 20.
That hits. That hits.
Okay, so that's crossbow. It's a d6. 3, 4, 5, 6 points of piercing damage. Where's my d4? 2 points of thunder damage.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, you know. And
intelligence
26, okay.
and
3 points of fire damage.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you
flashiest of
imbued your
all
crossbow
the
with
things.
thunder damage. I'm so glad you did that.
Flashiest
Alright.
of attacks.
You see your first bolt sink into him. There's a loud boom due to the thunder damage.
Absolutely
It
lovely.
echoes through this quiet night.
So glad
You
you
see-
did that.
The rest of the camp who's sleeping stays asleep. As though they're entirely undisturbed.
I might be able to help with this.
But you start hearing shouts in the distance
The other 7.
of the other people who had gone off into the woods.
You guys are so welcome.
It's on now.
We were like super.
Your second shot.
I mean,
Hard for damage.
word is the key term right
Okay,
there.
second shot. That's a 12 and a 14, so 12.
I might be able to help with this.
Man, I was gonna go run up and rip them chains
18 to hit.
down.
18 hits.
still
Roll
can.
damage.
I'm planning on
Okay.
it. I'm gonna use John's money. Rip them chains out.
All right, that is 9 piercing damage, 1 fire, and 1 thunder.
Alright. You see the second bolt sink into him. There's another boom that echoes out. A little softer. You see the captives are starting to flinch away and moving away and focusing on what they're doing.
So now they're not
Which
gonna
one-
trust us.
And
Which
this
one did you
guy is
focus on?
looking really rough.
basically,
Focus on this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
every time Casey Tour takes a shot, it's like an Abrams tank going on.
Yep. Essentially.
So glad you
This
used thunder. for your
shattering
crossbow.
sound echoing through the night.
You should have used
Technically,
force or
does
something
the
like
light
that.
Does the light?
Like a crackle of electricity.
Okay. That occurred to me just now.
Not
I didn't
like,
think it did, but it's not like an
I should've done my
explosion.
Yeah.
It's okay. It is now these guys'
guys.
turn. They shout out, "Hey, hey! We're under attack! Wake up! Wake up!"
No, you're not.
Nothing happens here at the camp.
Yay! We need to
You
keep
see
them
these
from waking their
guys,
buddies up.
or you
10
hear
minutes.
these guys in the woods starting
Yeah, but-
to turn back around to start
Shake
racing
somebody
towards the
awake.
camp.
I'm about to fix that.
They start looking around, seeing if they can spot where you are at.
Roll.
No.
Roll like garbage.
That guy is looking for the source of the crossbow bolts and doesn't find anybody. This guy. Why do you do this to me?
'Cause it loves
Also,
us better.
looking around, seeing his buddy, comes over to where he's at. He's like trying to support him and looking around, trying, and doesn't see anything at this point either. These guys will say have come back and they're about on the edge here. So 40 or so feet, 40 or 50 feet away from the captives in the clearing. That is their turn. Mr. Doran.
Thank you.
We'll give them their marker there.
Okay.
What are you up to, sir?
I want to use my full movement to get as close to I can to the first group chained up with
So you're running 50 feet forward.
Yates.
You are 30 feet away from the captives.
All right, and I'll go ahead
So
and
you're just off the edge of the map there.
I'll go ahead and fart out my bonus action of Giant's
Actually,
Might
you're
so I
probably
can.
right on the edge.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and burn Giant's Might so I'm taller and more stronger.
Swole.
Sworen.
Swollen.
Right, next to you, you see the dwarf just
Not such a dwarf anymore.
Oh, lovely, darling.
significantly taller than you are now.
4 feet to 8 feet tall.
Doubled in height.
Like 8'8" now instead of 4'4".
Anything else?
I don't.
Movement, action, bonus action. That was it.
I used all the
Alright,
things.
Celiax.
Alright. I will run my 30 feet forward. And
Anything I'm now a shiny target.
I will cast Sacred Flame at this. Which one got hit with the thunder? This one?
That guy. With the sword sticking up.
Okay. Then I will.
Thunderstruck.
Oh my god.
I will cast Sacred Flame at this guy.
Okay, that's a dex save.
No, it's or not. I'm sorry, not Sacred Flame. Guiding Bolt.
Okay. What level?
Let's do first level for now.
Okay.
That's cocked. That's not. Oh, what is my cleric casting? Oh, that's 24.
That hits.
Sweet.
Roll damage.
4d6.
Nice.
And ooh, not great. Oh, so it's 13 radiant. So as I extend my hand and the bright sort of bluish light comes forth and hits him, he is now glowing ever so slightly with a bluish radiant light.
He is. It seems to draw the eye and makes it easier to target him. So whoever attacks him next has advantage on their roll. You see also as this silvery blue energy impacts his body, he cringes away from it and blood starts dripping out of his nose.
Cool.
He's starting to look rough already.
Good. Right, that's it for me.
All right. Back to the top of the order.
All right, I'm going to run forward my full movement. Am I within 60 feet of those two?
You were about 80 feet back.
And then I ran forward, and then I was at 50 feet. And then... So I was 50 feet from that line.
So you run forward another 30 feet. You're on the edge here.
All right, I can't...
This guy is right at 60 feet from you.
That's okay.
That works.
Because
I know what you're doing.
the Reaper of Toll the Dead allows me to target two creatures if they're within 5 feet of each other.
Nice.
And as they've both been each injured, that's 2d12.
Hit him hard.
Eat it.
So that is a wisdom saving throw from both of them.
Do it.
That's a 9 and a 2. So they both fail.
They both take 15 points of damage, of necrotic damage.
You see this faint echo of a gong rings out and reaches all the way to you, and you can see them cringing away from it, their hands over their ears. They collapse to the ground. They are both dead.
Boom.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that was my action. Bonus action. Mass healing word on the slaves.
Okay.
On the captives.
How many can that target?
That's a very good question.
Are those two spells?
No, Toll the Dead is a cantrip.
Oh, it helps if I'm typing this into my...
Mass healing word, up to 6 creatures.
Yeah, so...
I would love to have a D12 cantrip.
Yep.
And it does 1d8 if they have the hurt, or 1d12.
Yeah.
So that's
So are you focusing on?
I'm focusing on the 6 that look probably the men that look the most hurt,
Okay.
especially as they're working on the spiky thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to make this a not giftable moment.
It's necrotic.
Good luck.
Right.
As they're working to untwist it and pull it up from the ground, go ahead and roll the healing for them.
Nice. Each of them get 9 points.
Ooh, very nice. So you see visibly their wounds start to heal at an increased rate. Their injuries, the lighter ones are scabbing over. You see the heavier ones that were under bandages. You see them starting to move more easily. You're starting to see a decrease in the pain, and they're looking significantly better.
Yep. And then I'll holler out to the group, protect the captives, and I'm going to actually focus my efforts towards the silenced group.
Okay.
Oh no. Why would you do this?
Because there's literally nothing they can do about it.
Because they're asleep and it's silent.
Yep.
As long as he doesn't drop concentration.
Is silence concentration?
Silence is concentration.
Yes, that's right. Don't get hit in the head.
All right. Right. What are you up to?
Fireball.
Oh, wait, boring wizard.
Can't.
Look at that nice little grouping there.
Yes, I've noticed.
All the time.
Can I get within 60 feet of them with my 30-foot movement?
Just barely.
I would like to do that as much staying away from the silenced group as possible.
You're here.
And I will cast Shatter in the middle so I can cover as many of them as possible.
How close did you want to get to him?
At least within 60 foot.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
What's the AoE for Shatter?
10-foot radius.
Okay. So this medium-sized circle here, you could get
Holy crap!
all but one of them.
Perfect. I'm gonna
radius.
cast it at 4th level.
Oh
snap!
It sucks to get those guys.
Right?
Okay.
Glad she's on our team.
They need to make Constitution saving throws.
Okay. First guy. 10.
No.
Second. Natural 20. Third. Another 10. Fourth. That's this guy. 6th. 5th. It's a natural 1. And 6th. That's an 11.
So the
anything under a 16.
Only the natural 20 saved, and he was the second guy.
He was
Okay.
this dude.
5d8.
Dang. Do you need more D8?
No, I have plenty.
Okay.
You need D8? I'm a paladin. I have all the D8s.
You have all the D8s.
Everybody.
Oh, we'll see.
That would be the hope. Okay. I don't have room.
You think we'll have
Roll
to
into
leave?
your thing. You moved
I'm
your
gonna
roll.
lose them.
You moved your
Oh,
rolling
God.
trade to not rolling.
Okay. 6,
That's why I keep my
8, 10,
Need more table space.
12. That was pathetic.
Let my dumb brain get confused.
14.
14. 14 points of damage. You see this loud ringing noise starts echoing out. You see them cringing away from it, a couple of them clapping hands to their heads. You see blood starting to ooze out of ears.
Jelly brain.
They're looking rough.
Okay, perfect. That's gonna be it for me.
How bad?
Halberd, what are you doing, sir?
How far away is Nightbane?
40 feet, I believe, from the line here, from the clearing, and then an additional.
Long way.
He's going to.
He's about 120 feet from the people, the
move him up
enemies.
to the clearing, and then is he close to the captives in the circle?
He can be.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have him put him on guard for the captives.
Alright, we'll go ahead and put Nightbane.
So it's 80 feet of movement if he dashes.
Yeah. So if you can move
yeah,
him
he
up
can
to
be here.
like middle and put him on guard there. Yeah. I would like to see the people coming up. And I'd like to hit the front guy. Shoot the front guy.
Okay.
Which one?
We'll say this guy here.
Whichever one, just hit.
And these guys are already starting to look pretty rough.
Yeah. 21 to hit.
Hits.
12 points of damage.
And he is dead.
Nice.
The arrow sinks in and just blood erupts in a spray from his throat. He falls to the ground.
I like this. Let's do it again on the guy right beside him.
All right.
Let me see, sorry, if I have something fun to use. Oh, just shoot regular, it's fine. 19.
Hits. Roll damage.
10.
Also dead.
Yes.
We didn't like him.
Keep on moving me up till I'm just outside the clearing.
You're up next to where Val's at.
How far away am I from?
Actually, you're probably 10 feet
what's his
above.
face?
In
The
front of.
red-headed elf.
About 50 feet.
You do remember the red-headed elf is a friend, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why
I'm just making
asking.
sure.
That's why I'm asking. What's his name? Because I know it. I just don't have my notes.
Torian.
Thank you. Cool. Good deal.
Can
All right.
confirm.
It is the captive's turn. Here at the black circle, they are making progress. They are getting. They have figured out a system where they're using their chains to wrap around it and starting to get some torque. You can see the stake driven into the ground starting to untwist and to give and release up from the ground. The gentlemen here at the red are unfortunately not making as much progress. They seem to have stalled out, not being able to get the right pressure that they need. And the green over there are also struggling still, unable to really figure out how to get the right angle to get the stake to start pulling up and out. You see a number of captives are looking at Nightbane now and cringing away and trying to leave as much space around him. He's a big, scary monster.
Being so nice around me, though.
Nightbane lifts up a back leg.
Kazator, your turn. What are you doing?
Okay.
He's a cat.
I'm
making more noise.
Trying to get a read on the map. What is the closest group of bad guys to me?
The silenced group, but
Yeah, the silenced group is the closest to you.
Okay.
They're sleeping.
But they're asleep.
And where about are they?
They're in the big open.
They're all spread out. There are 3 campfires through here. I'll go ahead and mark out for y'all.
Yeah, thank you. And how many are in that sleep group?
400.
Math.
And are the D4s captives?
Yes.
About 30.
Okay. Dude, we would have been in trouble.
Those 42.
Y'all are that silencing spell though.
Yeah.
That was good.
Which I thought I was like, oh, I'm worried about myself with the vocal components of all my stuff. Didn't know Dingleberry had a thunder weapon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, you would have known that because every time he shoots it, it sounds like a cannon.
Well, yeah, I mean, I figured it out, but I went first, so.
It's important to remember going forward.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So they're just all scattered around that area.
He just keeps unloading his shotgun at everybody.
Right.
You're still a pretty good distance away from them all, Kazator.
Yeah, Kazator, you're probably...
I need me some boots of run fasterness.
60, 70 feet away.
Okay. Have the group with the torches, they're still making their way back?
Yeah, they're making their way back.
Okay, and there were 7 of them?
You're down to 5.
But I mean 7 of the group that left?
No, there are 5 of them left.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
there
'cause
were
how
7.
precise.
You're down to 5 of them that are alive.
I gotcha. And I had okay. And then there's the sleeping group.
You can't really see it, but they're right here. That's where the group returning is.
I'll see where you pointed in about 20 seconds.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Would you like a picture?
Do what?
Would you like a picture?
I mean, I can see the layout.
Okay.
It's just anything that gets pointed at, I have a delay on. Okay.
They're on the side of
Let's
the
just do this.
building.
Am I within 60 feet of Val?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll bonus action to inspire Val.
Aww.
And then use polymorph. So, for Val.
He always polymorphs. I'm a caster. No, I'm not.
Well, because I need
doesn't-
more speed. I'm too far away.
He doesn't spell save.
Okay, so to Val, I'll sing. How does a cleric Kalistar, son of a patron of the Traveler, rise up to be a cleric of death, ending and beginning life with a breath. The Saint Runner, Undead Stunner, 11th Hour Top Gunner. He's a healer, fate sealer, saning, kneeler, damage dealer, taunt stealer, past concealer, truth revealer. He's the Death Cleric Beltana. And here's a few guys that he hasn't killed, but just you wait, just you wait.
That's amazing. Go
How
take
long-
your inspiration.
Yes. How long have you been sitting on that one?
Just today.
What is that? DH right now?
D8.
D8, yeah.
Alright.
Leave that to level up.
No, D8 solid.
Yes, but D12 is better.
Yes. He'll get there. Just you
We'll
wait.
get there.
Oh gosh.
Alright,
And then I'll
so
call him for giant ape.
Alright. Oh, do we have a giant ape in here for him?
we used the Hezru last time.
Right.
I'll grab
Jake, can I let you get that?
Yep.
And that is. You're taking the movement going forward.
What?
Giant ape movement is what?
Giant ape is.
We need to
40.
get one of these. Is what?
I think 40.
Okay.
It's pulling up. It's being slow, but I believe it's 40. Yeah, 40.
So it should get you right about here.
You know, you need to quit monkeying around and just get it done.
Could have dimension board in there. I could have ripped the chains out of the
Right.
by now,
It's okay. We'll learn. Live and learn. That's Kazator's turn. It is these guys' turn now.
No, of course not. Why would he dimension
These
board
guys
you
are all
somewhere?
still asleep. They don't hear anything. Nothing's going on.
Is it-
These guys see that they're sleeping and start making their way up to start trying and wake people up. This guy is just entering the silenced area now. This guy still has no idea what's going on there. Those guys are heading up forward towards where Nightbane is at. And they are going. This guy is starting to
30
shake
movement speed.
people awake. He gets one of them sort of awake this turn.
We'll fix that.
Figured.
Oh wait, I'm not.
Fireball.
Oh wait, I'm dead.
These guys are going to. These two are going to take out their bows and make a shot. Great. Right, you are right there for them to see.
I
He's
am.
also a big scary cat.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Big scary cat, obviously defending a caster. They're smart enough to go for the squishy person
Big
first.
scary cat.
I'm gonna use shield as my reaction.
Let's see if they hit first.
Yeah.
It's already like, yeah, you know what?
Nope, I know how this works.
That is a 15 to hit. Yeah. Okay, so shield.
Puts it right at 15.
Shield puts it at 15?
Yes.
You have a 0 dex?
Let's just keep moving forward, guys, okay?
Oh no!
Okay. So, Arrow, you try and get your arcane shield up, but does not manage to make it in time.
Counting on you guys.
Why did you run so far ahead?
That's okay. That is.
Your boy can't do anything from the back.
5 points of damage.
I already used my
5 points of
bonus.
piercing
Well,
damage.
it's been great having you here.
I know.
Second shot is going to.
I'm gonna
be-
actually use what is it called? Instinctive charm to try and see if I can get them.
Reaction isn't
Can you
bonus,
do that
right?
as a reaction?
That is a reaction. Okay, never mind. Can't do that. It's okay. I'm fine.
Next time.
Can I
I'm fine.
It'll be next time.
Second shot is a 19 to hit, and
And
that is
I'll go
another
ahead and
5
try to
points of
work
damage.
this.
Okay.
It just says reaction.
What's the reaction?
My defensive runes to give her 2 extra AC.
Let me see.
Unless I'm wrong, I don't know.
If I'd known that, would have prepared different spells today to help you.
Right?
Oh my not discussed any of this.
Well, going forward, now we know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say your rune has to be active or anything. So that takes your AC from 15 to 17 for this round.
So the first one wouldn't have hit.
First one wouldn't hit, so
Beautiful.
only take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
It's only taking 2 reactionary spells to get you not to hit.
Second one is going to make his 2 shots on you. That is an 11.
11.
Yeah.
11.
And another 19.
How many times can I use this thing?
Which is another 4 points of damage.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine. We're good.
The third guy here is going to pull out his hand axe.
This is why House gets mad at her all the time.
It doesn't say how many times I can use it. Just reaction. Yeah. So I
Well,
guess
you
I
only
use
get one
Vanguard.
reaction.
Like I've tried to use it before. Hey.
You only get 1 reaction.
No, I know, but I mean every time I have a reaction to spend.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah, he's going to take out his hand axe and try and throw it at. At you.
This is what House gets mad at her. It's fine.
That is a 20. Hold up, no, you're outside of his range. You're in his disadvantage. That's still an 18 to hit. Which is 4 points of damage.
That's fine. We're fine. We're good.
We're not dead yet.
That is their. Actually, no. This guy's going to use his action to dash in and be ready to start waking people up on the next turn.
Didn't he already move up that far?
He moved up.
He's dashing.
He moved up his
Okay,
movement.
yeah.
He's using his action to dash farther.
I don't know how games work.
You're up.
That's their turn. Doran, you're up.
I want to move, get up to the chain people, and rip that sucker out the ground.
You can get there. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Come on, strong boy.
Yeah.
I believe with your giant might, you have advantage on those.
I have advantage on strength saving throws and checks.
This is a strength check. Athletics is strength. So go ahead and roll with advantage. The DC for pulling these up is 15.
Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 19.
Crush that.
Oh yeah.
So I ripped that out of the ground.
Up and out of the ground. You pull the chains up so hard and so almost easily. You're actually almost staggering some of the people who are still connected to it.
Bro.
Sorry about that. Go that way.
So this one's yanked.
That one is yanked.
Run. Start going
not
that
their
way.
turn
There's
yet.
more
Hard to
people
signify
over there that can
yanked.
help you.
Here.
How does one signify yanked?
Switching it out. Yanked.
Ooh.
Ooh. Fancy.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Point them off in the woods and go back that way.
All right. That's your movement. That's your action. Bonus action at all? You can activate any other runes.
Activate all the runes. I will turn on the hill rune. So now I've got no, wait. Go on that. I'll use storm rune again. So I have future vision.
Okay.
So I can impose advantage and disadvantage on stuff.
For the next
For-
10 rounds.
But only on reactions. So
All right.
good.
Storm runes broke as
Yeah, that's why it's
I'll
fun.
get out. Siliex.
But I will move my other 30 feet forward, which put me just at the border of the map.
Yep.
And then I will,
Should have moved up first.
assessing where everything is, I will do another guiding bolt at first level at this guy as he's starting to wake people up.
Okay.
So 18?
18 hits.
No, not good. It's 12 points of damage.
That is okay. He had already been injured earlier because of the shatter. You see him fall. Roll a d20 for me. Highs he lands on someone, lows he doesn't.
It was a natural 20.
Alright. As his body lands, he does fall, and we'll just go ahead and use his mini.
He's asleep too.
I feel like for a natural 20, he should fall where I wanted him to.
No, that's not how it works.
No, he smothers the guy.
His body falls and he lands on top of somebody who is jolted awake at that.
That's it.
Back to the top of the order. Val.
Oh, you guys made life so much more difficult for me. Crap.
That's teamwork for you.
I can get there.
I mean, you also have two guys right next to each other again.
I have a lot of two guys. Are any of them the uninjured one, or did we already kill him?
This guy.
That guy's the uninjured one? Okay, cool. I don't like
The
these
rest
guys.
of them have blood still gently oozing out of their ears.
That makes it weird.
It's definitely uncomfortable. I mean, all squishy when you move your head.
Actually, the chain people can help rip each other's chains out.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And I'll dash 5, 10, 15, 20, somewhere like that.
So in the middle of silence.
Yeah. And then, oh, wait, hang on. Before I do that.
So you're still back here?
Yeah. Just double checking something real quick. Where is my healer? Okay, so I will bonus action healing word on her.
Okay.
And I'll do that at
On you.
3rd level. No, sorry, 2nd level. 2nd level. Sorry, had to look at the wrong spell slot. So you get 10 points back.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
And now I will do all the dashing.
All right.
And that's my turn.
Right. What are you up to?
I'm going to trust the other guys can handle the other people. I'm going to attempt to cast Hold Person.
Oh, nice.
At 3rd level on these two over here.
Okay.
They need to make wisdom saving throws.
All right. Let me look up whether they have to be able to hear you or not, or if it's just someone you see.
Choose a humanoid you can see within range.
Okay. Yeah. First one is the guy standing up. That is a 7. Lying down is a 3. They are both held.
Okay.
Nice.
And that will be my turn.
Okay.
Nightbane does not like his friend getting shot at, so he's going to move up and engage the archers.
Nom noms. Nom the noms.
And he's going to use multi-attack.
He's going to what?
Use multi-attack.
Multi-attack? All right. Who's he attacking?
First archer who shot.
All right. This guy here.
That's an 11.
11 misses.
Next one. Oh man, that's a 9.
9 also misses.
Halberd is going to shoot
Scary kitty attacking.
Right.
Good kitty.
the guy who is underneath the guy who fell on him.
Yes.
I want to shoot him.
Okay.
The guy who my guy woke up.
Yep.
He is prone, so you do have disadvantage on the attack.
But he hasn't taken a turn in combat yet, which means I'll have.
But he
advantage on
is
the attack.
aware. He is not surprised.
No, exactly. But he is.
So it's not an auto crit, but he still has advantage, which would cancel out because
How would that work with sneak attack as well? Just curious.
because if he hasn't taken a turn in combat, he should get advantage. But since he's not surprised, it's not auto crit.
And I ignore 3/4 coverage.
Not taking a turn.
That's an assassin thing. So
Oh, that's right,
the
that's
assassin trait that he has, if it hasn't taken a turn in combat, he gets advantage. If the creature is surprised, it's an auto crit.
Yeah.
Rogue assassins, super broke.
Or super useful if they're on your side.
Yeah.
I don't think this is broke at all. I think
Right?
it's
This
wonderful.
is wonderful.
Yeah, rogue assassins. You haven't gone in combat yet? Sweet. I get to have an advantage. I'm attacking you. You don't know I'm there? Sweet. Crit. What? At high level rogue assassins, even dumber.
Okay. I'll give it. So it's just a straight roll.
Do I get now because I ignore 3/4 coverage? That doesn't do anything for me.
That doesn't
do I
do
get sneak
anything.
attack or not?
No, you do not have advantage on the hit, and he is not engaged with one of your allies, so it's a straight hit, just no sneak attack.
Nat 20.
Oh, crit this.
And he doesn't get
Go
that sneak
for it.
attack die though, so
Yeah.
Hey, roll in your box.
I'm working on it. It's gonna be 12 points of damage, and I like my other dice better, but it fell on the ground.
Okay, 12 points.
That's it?
You see the arrow sink into his side.
You don't hear anything.
You hear nothing. You see his mouth move as though he had just let out this ear-piercing shriek. You don't hear a thing.
That was a terrible crit for 12 points of damage. You failed us.
Me?
Yes, you.
The dice failed.
Yeah, the dice failed.
He still hasn't gone in combat yet, has he?
He will shortly.
Cool, I'm gonna shoot him again.
The first.
Yeah, that was attack number 1.
Okay, that was attack number 1. Go ahead and finish it out.
Damn it.
Dude!
Dude, dial down the aggression.
You know what that rolled to on the ground?
In that 20?
Yep, it did. So, let me roll my dice again. That's not as good, but I'll take a 24 to hit.
Oh, it definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
And that is not great. So how about 6 points of damage?
6.
That's 18 in one go on one guy. That's
That's
terrible.
respectable. He's the second arrow sinks in, and he is looking pretty rough.
Oh, but he's still not dead.
Still not dead.
We still held a
Not doing great, but not dead.
No, that one's not held.
No, this is the he shot the one
These
that's
two are held.
This is the one that my
He's
guy
attacking this one.
fell on top of.
Oh, gotcha.
So he still has to shove the guy off and then get up.
Yeah. But he's alive.
Halberd, anything else on your turn?
Yeah, but I just want to see if he falls on top of one of those to see this.
How close am I? Oh, dang it. No, I'm gonna say no right now.
Okay. It is the captive's turn. These, as a group, are going to take the big metal thing and attempt to carry it off and move into the woods.
Step.
Away.
Step.
They do manage to go ahead and take their movement. They don't trip over anything. They make it about that far. The other two are going to continue attempting to get their stakes out of the ground. The gentleman of the red sword first. Do you manage, through a feat of strength, to go ahead and lift the stake out? And they will go ahead and take their movement. Disadvantage, but that's okay because they still make it. And they are going to come over and be prepared to start assisting the other guys
smart.
if they need it. Well, yeah, the guys, yeah. And then they are going to, at the green, get a nat 20.
Nice.
So they have finally gotten their crap together. They have figured out how to get their stake up and out of the ground successfully with one great heave, and are going at the urging of the gentleman. Stay right. Are going to start making their way.
Sweet.
That is the end of their turn. Actually, before they finish their turn, the guys are going to look over at the giant dwarf.
What's up?
Get us out of these chains and give us weapons.
Alright.
Kazasaur, you're up.
So that was the last group of slaves or captives.
They're
all got
all
their
free.
stakes out.
They're all, their stakes are out of their ground, and so they can move slowly. The guys, the gentlemen at the where the men had been grouped together, are asking to be freed of the chains and given weapons to help with the fight.
Right. Okay. Am I within 40 feet of any of the assailants?
Oh, sleeping ones.
Where is...
He's the gorilla.
Of course he is. Within of the sleeping ones, yes. The ones who are still on the ground.
Do it.
That's easy crushing, man.
I was gonna say, as a gorilla with 7 intelligence, I'm just gonna hit.
In silence.
Yeah, and in silence, so you won't be giving us away anymore.
Well, it's okay, I'm not doing thunder damage.
Or you can go help Nightbane out.
You can't get there in 40.
How many people are by Nightbane?
3.
Not for long. Yeah, you can get there.
I can get there in 40?
Almost.
I have a reach of 10 feet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could do it.
You could get there and have a reach of 10 feet.
Okay, I'll do that then. Go help out my animal buddy.
The bard that wants to be a druid.
Essentially.
So there are 2 within range of you now.
Okay, I'll just swing it. Somebody point to one. I'll hit that one first.
Go to the one closest to you.
Okay. All right. So these are just fist attacks. First is not great, but I have a good to hit. 13 to hit.
Just misses.
Okay. Second. That'll hit. That's an 18.
That does hit. Roll damage.
Okay. Okay, it's not great, but it's not terrible. 3, 6, 14, 20 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, that'll do it. Your giant ape fist swings into him and smushes him to the ground into paste.
Sweet.
Nice.
It's a bummer I couldn't hit 2 of them. I don't think an ape has a bonus action.
Probably not.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think it's just a multi-attack, and that's movement. So, yep, I'm done.
All right. It is the enemy's turn now. The 2, seeing the 2 giant monsters in their face, are going to look at each other.
You rolling for bladder check?
No, I'm rolling to see how smart they are. Because they're about average smart. Are they going to think that these are actual creatures, or that these are summoned, or that these are people who are turned into things? So they do not. They don't correlate the creature with the caster. The one closest to Gazator is going to take a short bow and attempt to bring down the giant ape. He did not like seeing his friend turned into paste.
I really hope he's gonna run.
Yeah, the caster doesn't really seem like a threat right now.
Not with two critters in their face.
I'm a small little elf girl. Oh.
That is a 15 to hit. What's the ape's AC?
Hit. Only 12.
Alright, that is
No, like
7 points of damage. Go ahead and make a concentration check.
Oh, concentration?
Yep.
Wait a minute. What do I add to that? Oh, it's Constitution, right?
Yeah, so Constitution saving throw.
Saving throw? Okay. 17.
You pass. Keep your 8 form.
Is that half or 10 minimum?
Yes.
Okay.
Whichever's
Would he use his or the
higher
ape's constitution?
It was a natural 15, so either way.
Yeah, either way is fine.
It's the spellcaster's Constitution, wouldn't it be?
I'll look into it. I will look into it.
I think the ape's is better, but yeah, it's way better.
Probably. A 12 to hit for the second shot.
Just hits.
6 points of piercing damage. So, second arrow sinks into the ape's shoulder. Go ahead and make another concentration check.
It's like a spider up in the ear.
No. Wait. I said that was a natural 3. So yeah, That do not.
Alright, so you do drop form.
Even for the ape, it doesn't? Just out of curiosity.
I didn't hear
We'll
that.
say it's the
That
spellcaster's
makes
for
sense.
now,
I would be
but-
surprised if the ape had a plus
What
7
is the-
Constitution saving throw.
What do you?
Nuts.
What's the difference between the saving throw and just the modifier?
Oh, I got myself
It would say.
the wrong one.
It would say
It would say.
specifically.
Oh, then it's just.
Yeah.
It's better, but it's still only a 7, and I need 10.
Yeah. So you drop form. You're back into your SMR form. But hey, taking no damage.
You also moved up very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the main. Yeah.
Get hit.
8 feel. The main feel. Okay.
That's the guy with the bow. The guy with the axe is having seen you drop form.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Gonna take out another axe and throw it at you.
Yeah.
That is going to be a 15 to hit.
Just misses.
Okay. You see the axe coming and manage to sidestep, dodging out of the way. Axe goes flying. These guys are held. This guy is going to attempt to get up. Does manage to push the body off of him. Takes half of his movement to stand up.
We haven't had a fight in so long. We're just murdering all these people.
Just murking all of these
So
fools.
many.
I mean,
It's great.
yeah.
She was over here worried about 42
making
people.
up for lost time.
There's 42
Taking a
of
look
them.
around.
Right. You
This-
guys just wanted to run in.
This is why we have big egos.
No.
See.
Did not want to just run in.
I mean, y'all planned pretty decently and waited for most of them to be asleep.
The silent spells really was.
Seeing the
You're welcome.
situation,
Seriously, yeah.
how y'all are straight up murdering his friends.
He'll get over it. Are they friends or are
Yeah,
they just
he's
coworkers?
going to start. He's out of here.
That's
No, he's really
potentially-
not.
That's potentially bad.
Albert can still see him. He's not out of here.
That was
Eat 'em.
exactly what I was thinking, actually.
Eat 'em.
All right. That is their turn.
Get a door.
Actually, we'll say on his way out, does he have the dexterity to try and kick other people away? With a nat 20, we'll say yeah. On his way out, he is. We'll use these two. He manages to get. Stepping on that guy. Stepping on this guy.
They're waking up 1 and 2 at a time. We can handle that.
Jethro and
I
Billets.
mean, that's silence though.
You're welcome.
I can't. I mean. Anyway. Moving on. That's their turn. Doran, what are you up to?
Okay. About 8 feet. I want to move to the guys with the chains on their giblets.
I don't think that's where they're connected, but
Hey, you don't know how
Okay.
they chain them up.
So I understand this chain contraption. It's like a ring attached to a stake that was in the ground.
Yes.
And
And
there's
there are multiple chains.
all coming off of it.
Yes, and they're also connected.
Okay. So
Think about it this way.
they're connected to each other
At the ankle.
at the ankle.
At the ankle.
Okay.
Their wrists are connected to the central stake.
Okay. Okay.
So all the feet are connected, and then all the hands are connected to the center stake.
Yeah.
How am I gonna start ripping this sucker out?
Is it like loops with one long chain? So if you were to like bust the chains
Yeah.
all loop together, or is it individual chains?
That's
between
what
all
I'm
of them?
trying to
Their
understand.
wrists are individual to the stake.
Okay.
Their feet is one big chain.
Okay. So I just need. Okay. And this is fairly garbagey metal.
Fairly.
Okay. So I'm less worried about actually ripping it apart. More like, where do I start to make this work and get them out quicker? I think. Is it possible to get all the chains in one wad?
With some finagling, you can probably manage to do that. It may take this turn and next turn to make it happen.
Okay.
and it'll probably be more difficult to break apart or cut through or whatever you're trying to do if they're all together.
I wanted to. Well, what I had in my brain was I wanted to try to leverage it and just rip them all this way. That seems like that'd be too much.
Could you break the center? If the way, if I understand it, if he breaks the center ring, all their hands will be free. They'll have long chains coming off of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems like a weapon
But
in
their
and of
feet,
itself.
but their feet will still be connected
Right.
together.
Yeah. Everyone move together.
Really
Swing your arms.
Right? Wiggle your face. Chain whip.
That's a whole bunch of chain whips.
What's the ground look like?
That seems.
Is it just
Forest
grass?
floor, grass, dirt.
Is there like maybe a rock around?
Make a perception check.
I don't want to waste my turn on that.
That's okay. Just make a
Oh, I
perception
can
check.
just do
This is
that?
you just glancing around, seeing if you see a rock.
16 and perception is garbage, so yeah, 16.
Yeah, you can find a decently sized rock.
Fantastic. I want that rock, and I'm gonna get choppy because this is stupid, and I'm just gonna grab part of the chain and just start thwacking through the.
Okay, are you going for the chain or are you going for the center ring?
Hands or feet?
The center ring, so
Okay.
that way each of the chains are individually freed. At least they
So
can.
their hands will be freed at that point if
Yeah.
you manage to do this.
Yes.
Attack that ring.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's just like a three-legged race. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, that's a nat 20.
Boss!
So
chill about it. Hey, would you look at that?
Hey.
Yeah.
Swollen.
So you line up your shot. You have it. Your Smith background comes into focus like you're having something on an anvil. You take it,
That's
you line
the
it
part I
up,
want to smoosh.
and you swing your whole body weight into it. And in your expanded form,
I've got a lot of body weight.
you got a lot of body weight to sink into this. It cleanly splits through the iron. It not only hits the iron, it splits the rock straight through the middle, just split in half.
I chuckled to myself
Yay for
about
magic
that.
weapons.
Yay for magic weapons. Yeah, because I figure it's a magic weapon. It won't break my storm axe.
All right.
All right. So
All right,
then,
so
can
their
I-
hands are freed. Their feet are not. That's
My-
your movement and your action.
my second attack.
Okay, go
Because
for
I
it.
get more than one attack on attack.
Go for it. Attack.
I just want to start cutting chains for feet apart.
All right.
If there's any rock
it's
left.
one big loop, so you just
Yeah.
have to slice through it, and they'll be able to
Though,
slide off. of
Okay,
it.
perfect. Then I do that.
All right. Attack the chain.
Not as good.
Bumper, please.
11 plus 9. 19. No,
20.
wait, 20.
That's still 20.
Math
That
is
is
hard.
still 20.
I've got a -1 intelligence.
That is okay. The chain had a lower DC than the ring, and it's cheap
Cool.
metal, so you sink your axe through it. The rock is kind of powderish at this point, but you do manage to split the chain and
Scoop up
start
some gravel, throw at the bad guys.
to start.
Pack to
They're free and they have.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
weapons.
Chain hands.
I don't have swords to hand out to you lads, but the chains will work, hey?
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, let's get to work.
Solyax, you're up.
Mhm,
What are you
okay.
doing?
I will move 30 feet towards the Ring of Silence. I fell into a burn of silence. Okay.
Right.
I'm not in. That's about right. But I'm not in the ring yet. Am
You're
I?
just outside it.
Perfect. Okay. Then I will do. Let's do Sacred Flame on one of the sleepy boys.
Okay. He is
How about
asleep.
one of the wiki
that
boys?
automatically
Oh yeah, people are
fails
awake, aren't they?
his-
Okay, what are the ones that old boy just woke up and is running out then?
Okay. We'll say the one closest to you.
Sure.
That is
A dex
what kind
save.
of dex save? If he's prone, that's disadvantage on dex saves, right?
I don't think so.
Let me look it up.
I don't know. I mean, if you say so, sure, I'm about that. What's my DC for this? Okay. Too many different spell save DCs.
Nope.
Okay. It's like
I was
restricted or
making that
grappled.
up. Yeah.
Restrained or grappled with something like that has that, I think. I mean, but if you want to give him disadvantage, I won't complain about
Yeah,
it.
restraint has disadvantage on next saves. So that is a 17.
He saves.
Okay. So nothing happens there.
Nope.
But you make your presence known.
I mean, fair.
They are aware they are under attack.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. No bonus action.
Alright. Val, what are you up to?
Apologizing to Jonathan because I forgot to grab the wireless charger. I am running over to Wake Boy who's held.
The held ones?
Actually, no. I take that back. I take it back because I just realized that they're held. But they get to make saving throws, don't they, on their turn?
Oh yeah, that's right. They make Constitution saving throws.
So did I not do that at the end of their last turn?
Nope.
Constitution, you said?
I believe so.
Or Wisdom?
Where did I go? Wisdom. Sorry.
Alright. This guy who's standing up is a 2. And on the ground is 19.
19 succeeds.
Okay. So he is no longer held.
All right, so I am going to run over to him then, and I'm just going to bury my blade in his throat.
Alright, you have advantage
Sure, why
on
not?
the
He
attack.
wasn't using that anymore, right?
Because that is a thing with prone.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That's good.
That's the reason I didn't guiding bolt, because ranged at distance with prone is bad.
Yep.
I'm glad I got advantage. I went from a nat 1 to a nat 20.
Alright.
And thanks to Death Domain, I get to add a D8 of necrotic damage.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
your
Go
attack.
ahead and roll damage.
And
roll high.
I forget.
Remind me, a scimitar a finesse weapon?
It is, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
So we'll start with that. Okay, that's not great. So 6 plus 5.
11.
That's 11 slashing. And
Nat 20, double your 6.
No, 3.
Well, come on, roll better.
I know, I'm a terrible person. Then the D8 of necrotic. That's a 7. Does that
14?
Yeah. Does that get dealt? Yeah, because that's part of the damage.
Yeah.
Because
does it say additional or extra?
actually, I can tell you. Where is it?
Yeah, because that's going to make a difference here on what happens next.
I'm finding out. Extra.
From
You can cause the attack to deal an extra 1d8.
All of my reading, that extra is doubled, additional is not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 14 of necrotic.
So total, that's up to
28.
27? 28?
28.
Because it is 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 14 is 25.
25. Okay.
Is it still alive?
Actually, you sink your scimitar into his gut, pull, and disembowel him.
Oh!
He is dead before he ever got a chance to move.
That's
good job.
That's
Wonderful.
That's fair.
Now we found the giblets.
Oh, that's what they are.
Okay. Yeah, that's because I don't get extra attacks because I'm
You're a cleric.
a cleric. So yeah. Oh, I don't need to do this. I'm gonna telepathically make contact with. Oh wait, can I? They changed that. Hang on. Sorry. I think that may be an action. Used to be a bonus action, but I guess maybe. Okay, to give it a chance, it's an action to let it respond, but not an action to initiate contact. I'm going to, because it's silence, but telepathic contact, I'm going to tell him to surrender.
Make an intimidation check.
I just disemboweled his friend. Do I get advantage?
No, but it adjusts the DC.
Nat 20!
Good job.
So that's a 19.
Nice. With him rolling a 17 insight, yeah, he looks at you. We'll see what happens on his turn. Rye, what are you up to?
Counting. Is diagonal 5 or 10?
The first one's 5, the second one's 10.
Okay.
The third one's 5, the fourth one's 10.
I don't know if it's gonna work. Okay. I'm gonna do shatter again.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, and it's not concentration. And I'm gonna do it behind these two guys, further away, so it doesn't hit Nightbane.
Okay.
Yeah. So they need to make 2 Constitution saving throws, and I'll
Alright.
do it at second level.
Alright, first guy is the guy who hasn't been wounded yet. That is a Constitution.
Yes.
17.
That makes it.
Second guy is a 10.
Second guy does not make it. That's 10 total.
He falls down dead.
Ah!
On a success, do they take half damage?
Yes.
Okay, I had not been counting that. So that is... Okay. So that guy is with his ears ringing. He is just starting to look rough.
Beautiful.
And then the other guy is dead.
Nice.
Beautiful, beautiful.
My turn?
Yes.
Cool. Nightbane's going to strike that dude.
Alright, roll to hit.
Roll good, Nightbane.
21.
That's
Hits.
good.
Multi-attack.
Right, so this is for the first attack.
11. Hold on. He's biting. And that's 11 plus 4
15.
is 15. And then the guy has to make a DC 14 strength save for being knocked prone.
That is a 9. So he is knocked prone.
And Nightbane's going to use his other one and attack. Is that with advantage?
That
he's
is
prone?
with advantage because he is prone.
Does light not do damage?
20.
Halberd.
Huh?
What was the damage on the first bite?
15.
Okay. Alright.
And then
Second attack.
Is a 21 to hit.
Hits. And damage on that one?
5.
Oh, he's still alive. He's not looking good.
Halberd's gonna move up. Can he see the guy who was running away?
Yeah. Yeah, Halberd can see him. With your keen elf eyes.
He's down.
Your sharpshooter eyes.
I'm striking him. That's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Come on, you. Come on.
He can hit the guy, but he can't hit the box.
That's gonna be a 10.
10 damage?
Yep.
Alright.
Do it again.
Tell me he drops.
Not yet.
Oh, man.
Holy crap.
We didn't get any.
11th hour. All of these are yours. Murder fest.
Essentially.
Oh, just wait.
We'll deal with them as they get up.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point where there's nobody else up and there's people who are sleeping in silence around you,
Murder fest.
what you do with them then is on you.
So many pinatas.
Zephyr strike. Sharpshooter.
He's putting this one down.
This guy's dead.
Gotta hit him.
Yeah, 21 to hit.
That does hit.
Hold on, I'm getting my good dice. Better fall on the ground. I had rolled this one to begin with. Yeah, I'll take that. 16 plus 4 is 20, plus 10 is 30.
Oh yeah, he's dead. You see
Nice.
your arrows sink into his back as he's running away, and he just face plants into the
Right.
ground.
Righteous! Yes, queen.
Cool.
Alright, is that your turn, Halberd?
That's it.
Yeah, so the captives, the guys are going to move as a unit.
Oh, that guy's
5, that's as far as they can go. 10-foot range with the chains. They are going to, as just sink their chains into this guy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that hits.
DC for mob.
I'm not even going to try and roll that. With the damage of the bludgeoning from the chains, with he's on the ground and unable to avoid it,
Of like
he's dead.
how many
That's a
dudes?
bunch
was
of
that?
attacks with advantage.
It was
Like,
like
I'll just
at least would you 4 to 6 people or something? Or no, that was like 12. Wasn't it?
Yeah, like 12.
12 guys with
Mhm.
chains. Just yeah, that guy's squeak. Look at all the ketchup.
I've seen Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah. The other captives are going to move a little further into the woods, and I'm going to let y'all move that dice so I don't knock into
Just-
anything else.
Like this one's off board.
Yeah, just off board, and that one too. That's gonna be their turn. So there are just the 3 guys who are awake now.
Sweet.
One of them, that guy's still held, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Those two
And
just
then the
woke
other
up.
2 are just now waking up. Kazator, your turn.
Okay. From the map, it looks like there's nobody by Night Bannock.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
You have one guy or you have sleeping people who are closer that are within about 20 feet of you.
Everybody's in the silence ring at this point now,
Yeah,
right?
everybody else is within the silence ring.
Yes.
All the
You
enemies.
got the guy who is standing up next to Val. You could totally just kill him right there.
He's held though, so
That's okay. He doesn't
And
know. He doesn't know that you had a dialogue. He doesn't know what's going to happen. You could just have fun. Have fun, Kazator. Have fun.
I mean, yeah, you
I
are
mean,
one.
he gets to challenge the hold on the next turn. So.
That's true.
Just murder him.
Sleeping?
No,
No,
he's
no,
held.
there's somebody standing up.
Yeah.
Okay. All the minis are dark on the map, so I'm having trouble telling who.
I know.
Right here, right
We
here.
had
There's a
technical
guy right there.
He's paralyzed. So you'd have advantage on any attacks against him.
I'm waiting
He's
for
held,
Wes's
so-
point to come through.
He's underneath the tree.
I see it. Okay. Okay, cool. So he's within 30 feet of me.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. I'll go ahead and just take my first crossbow shot and see what that does.
Okay.
And you said I have advantage?
Yes. And he has already been wounded.
Wow. That was natural 3, natural 8, which I think is a 14.
14
Yeah.
just hits.
Yes.
I will
Nice.
take. Okay. So that's going to be
And see, now your shots won't do anything.
6 piercing. That's cocked. What is my d6 for? That is 4. Okay. 3 fire and 4 thunder.
So total that is
6, 10, 13.
he's dead. Your crossbow bolt sinks into him. There's a rippling through his abdomen. You can see, and then stuff just starts seeping out of the hole left by the crossbow bolt.
Red confetti.
Nice.
What were you asking?
They are immune to thunder damage.
When they're within the silence?
Yeah.
That is okay.
Yeah, I just making sure.
That was still enough to.
Yeah, that's one of my turn.
Good deal.
Okay, so now everybody else that we see is asleep.
There are 2 that are awake, but they're still on the ground. They haven't even gotten to get up yet.
Okay, where are they?
They are on the other side of Val.
Okay, rather than waiting for Wesley's point to come through, move me. Can I get with 30 speed movement? Can I get within 30 feet?
Yes.
Okay, I'll move there and take a shot.
Just stab him.
All right, go for it.
You can't get close enough to stab, can you?
Yeah, 18 to hit.
Roll with disadvantage because they are prone.
I did. Yeah, 12
Awesome.
and 18.
Yeah, still hits.
Rolled natural 12, my natural 18 plus 6, so I'm at 18.
Good deal.
Okay, so that's going to be 5 piercing, 4 fire, and they're within the cone, so
Yep.
no thunder?
No thunder.
Okay, so yeah, just 9.
9.
Alright.
Math. Okay. Good deal. So you see the bolt sink into this one. He's wide awake now. Wide awake.
Fair enough.
It is their turn. They're going to stand up with half of their movement, look around, take stock of the situation.
Try and run. Please try and run.
And they're going to put their hands into the air. You see their mouths move. And they just start slightly trying to move away. And that is all that they're going to do this turn. Doran.
I'm too slow to get up there and...
Start running that direction. Too big, intimidating dwarf presence.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and move up, though.
What's your movement speed with your giant form? Does it change?
It doesn't change. I wish it did. That'd be handy. Double the size, double the speed. If only. So it's 25. It's zero.
Okay. You can get up to that space with your...
Oh, was that me sprinting? Or was
Yes, with your dash action. You can get...
I mean, you might as well.
Okay.
Now you're in the middle of all the sleeping boys. So now you can just start
You
crushing
can get
sleeping
here
boys.
at this point with just moving.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to just move or do you want to take the dash action also?
No, I'll get up in that guy's
Okay.
face and be scary.
Okay.
I've got runes at the wing activated right now, so I should be pretty good. Actually, I didn't ever turn on the hill rune, so I'll go ahead and spend my bonus to do that.
Alright,
So I'm-
Hilgrin also.
I've got resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing for a minute.
Essentially.
Cool.
It's barbarian rage without the rage.
Yeah, and I'll
Alright.
just be scary in his face.
Celiax.
Right, well, I'm going to... Can I get up to one of the guys that's standing up within 30 feet?
Yeah, just
Okay,
barely.
Sure, I'm going up to him. And so they're like backing away like they're going to run?
More like they're moving away from their weapons.
So they dropped all their weapons?
They didn't even pick them up. Their armor's on the ground, their weapons are on the ground, their hands are in the air.
How many guys are left, like, asleep? There's still, like, quite a few, right?
Oh, yeah. 25 or so. 24, 25, somewhere in that range. And as y'all are moving through this space, it should probably count as difficult terrain with you dancing around the unconscious bodies.
Known slavers. I'm going to attack him.
Okay, roll a hit.
You expected anything different?
19.
Nope.
Hits.
Nope. It was mostly the fact that it just took that long.
He can be a good person.
Good.
I know, I have to pretend to be good sometimes. So that's 9 points of damage on the first one.
That is the same guy that Kazator just shot. He's looking rough, but he's still up.
Sweet, we'll do it again.
You see him cringing away from your axe, like,
Oh, that's not nearly as good. That's only a 14.
just barely hits.
Sweet. Oh, that's better. That's 13 points of damage.
Oh, he is dead.
Good.
You strike his arm off of his body, just blood spurting out.
Okay. Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay, back to the top of the order. Val.
I'm going to keep concentration on silence. I
Okay.
think this is the very first battle I've not taken damage. And I'm just going to kneel down with my sword and start opening people up.
Okay. We'll.
We don't like slavers.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna say that's not going to be that hard to do. You're slicing throats, and they're unconscious and not able to resist. Narratively, yeah, you start killing them.
Yep.
I do.
Just for, because I know we're running out of time, just for sake of brevity, unless somebody stops him, Val's ending all of them.
We can play this out and go through initiative order until someone manages to knock this last awake guy up. But there are 4 of y'all between the 3 of you and the captives who are pretty sure not going to let him leave alive. So we can go ahead and exit initiative order if y'all are okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good.
And get the rest of this going narratively.
The plan to just continue to keep murdering these people? Because I feel like that's...
Rye will watch you guys do it, but as far as she's concerned, she's done.
I'll watch for a second, then I walk away. I'm gonna go help the people out of their chains.
Okay.
I guess somebody does need to go track down the captives that are still.
Yeah.
I forgot about that for a second.
No, I didn't.
I will follow and help Doran.
Because I don't feel like.
I'll help Val finish off the rest of the slavers.
I will try and use dancing lights to entertain the children.
Okay.
I know the
Just say them.
screams. Oh, wait, there are not.
No,
Ah!
I know. That was the thing. It was like, it's silence that unless the kids are watching and they ran into the woods.
It is uncannily quiet.
Halberd's gonna go over to a tree and just kind of etch a ruin just off by himself.
Okay.
And go walk into the woods and bring the men with him and move the men away from the camp.
The men, you'll get about half of them to go with you, and the other half are very determined to go see the end of these attempted slavers.
Is the redhead?
The redhead does go off with Halberd. So
I'm about to lose battery.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and we'll pause there for end the session there for today. We'll jump in at this point next week.
They're all dead, right?
They are all dead.
We'll get to White Bren by the end of the year.
Brutally murdered.
Hey, also, it's time to loot the bodies.
Loot the bodies, the carts that are off to the side.
Yeah, as I'm walking away, like, find me something good.
100%.
Oh, there's a whole caravan's worth of goods.
Yeah, we're
Actually, wait. Some of this crap probably belongs to these people.
No, sure. What belongs to the people we won't take? The rest of it.
We're gonna search through.
I wouldn't mind get some more gold. That's all I'm saying, or whatever else they happen to have.
Your dragon's showing.
Better believe it.
Cool things.
Not Solix. Your dragon is
looting everything. There's a reason I wanted a bag of holding because I want everything.
Am I gonna need to roll for it, or did we just say I got the chains?
You managed to get the chains off.
Not between Halberd's picking abilities.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was Quesator that went with me.
Quesator did go with you. Halberd's wisdom is
He was talking to the men. Yeah.
We all went away.
And then
Basically,
Rye
it's
is
those
with
two.
the women and children.
Yes.
Entertaining the kids and reassuring them that everything will be all right.
Yeah. Look at the pretty lights, darling.
It's just catch up.
No, we're not even talking about that.
That was not in character.
Kids are resilient. They'll bounce back.
Babies bounce. Oh wait, that's Bumbles.
Anyway, moving on.
So, thank y'all for joining us for this session of our game. As far as we are planning now, we'll continue streaming and we'll be here next week.
To loot the bodies.
Loot the bodies.
Just spend 4 hours looting
Conquer the world.
We're gonna loot the bodies and go to White Brand.
Like I said, we are paying very close attention to what's happening around us. We're taking the risk seriously and taking care of ourselves. Y'all take care of yourselves too. Be safe. Wash your hands. Sanitize everything. Seriously. The world's gotten kind of crazy, y'all. We can only do the best that we can do. So let's do that. We'll see y'all hopefully next week. The VOD of this session will be up on Tuesday, and unless anything changes, we will see you here next Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.